Let's go, let's go, let's go. Christian is in the building. What's up, Godzilla? Welcome in. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Voyager's in the building. Bexley in the building. Vito, appreciate you tapping in. Chris is in here. Welcome in, y'all, and welcome to the live stream. I appreciate y'all hopping in so much. Harry, welcome in. If y'all are coming in for the first time, especially over on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, thank y'all so much for being here. I would love to know a little bit more about y'all. Talk to me about where y'all are joining from. If you make music, let me know the kind of music that you make. And of course, we're going to dive into some of our consultations here in just a couple of minutes. I'll explain the whole live stream. But I just want to chat for a little bit before we get things rolling here. Emilio, welcome in. Thank you for hopping in. Rosha, welcome in as well. I appreciate you being here. Can people watching? Follow me. I want to go live at any 54s. Meme Lord, welcome in. Easy B, welcome in as well. Nova's in the building. What's up, Nova? Welcome into the stream, man. Let me double check a few things here as we get rolling. Y'all keep tapping the screen too, especially if you're over on TikTok. Raxa, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Adam, welcome in. Tap the screen, share out the live with a few people, and don't forget to send your harmony. It does really help out the live stream quite a bit. In just a couple minutes, we'll get rolling with all of the music here. I'm just going to get a couple things. Oh, I need to refresh a couple things over there. I'll figure that out later. No worries. Meh is in the building. Welcome in, Meh. Welcome in. Nova, I hope you're doing fantastic. Eternal, welcome in. Eternal, welcome into the stream. I hope you're doing fabulous today. Let me get a couple things organized here. And y'all keep tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. Don't forget to send your harmony for the day. It does really help out the stream. Raya, appreciate you tapping in. Welcome in as well. If y'all are coming in over on TikTok, let me know where you're joining from. If you make music, let me know the kind of music that you make. I would love to chat with y'all for the next, 5-6 minutes or so before we get into listening to the music and kicking off the live stream officially. Hopefully we can actually handle a decent chunk of music today. Liz, welcome back in. Good to see you. James, I hope you're doing fantastic today. Welcome in as well. Is it Zli or G? I get Yef, I think. I can't, it's hard to see the name from here. But thank you so much for tapping in as well. I appreciate you joining the stream. Hope y'all are doing amazing. Dylan's in the building. Welcome in, Dylan. How are y'all feeling today? Will's in the building. Julian, welcome in as well. Appreciate y'all tapping in today. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate it. Tinkering around as I'm waiting for all the different platforms to kick off and get the stuff moving here. Let me see. Oh, Logan, really quick before you submit, Logan, I see you right there. Real quick. Can you double check something for me, Nova? Let me know if you're in the chat still. Mike, welcome in as well. Let me know. I want to catch you before you submit. Mike, welcome in as well. Appreciate you being here. Rosewood, thanks for tapping into the stream today. Yeah, can you double check the link? Is it sending you to the wrong place still? Is it sending you? Charlie, welcome in. Moog, welcome in. I hope you're doing amazing. Well, so I was going to say, double check the link that it sends you to. Can you double check the link on YouTube right now? Or I can try to, oh, you already went through it. Okay, hold on. YouTube's been giving me some issues with the submissions. So I'm trying to organize some things here. So let me double check really quick on my end. It already went through the other platform. Let me see. Chris is in the building. What's up, Chris? Joy, welcome in as well. It's good to see you. Thanks for tapping back in. I need to double check YouTube. So give me one moment because it's not updating for me. Oops. I don't want to hear all that. Let's see. No, it's not updating. That's so annoying. Okay. Let me see. Jesper in the building. Ashton, welcome in. Seema, welcome in. Thomas, appreciate you being here. Y'all welcome into the stream. Agatha, welcome in as well. I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all keep tapping the live. Sorry, I'm getting a couple things figured out here. Getting a couple things figured out because it's putting some stuff in the wrong order here. Carlos, welcome in. I don't know why YouTube keeps doing that. I already updated all the info for YouTube and it's still not showing up. So let me see really quick. Let me see really quick, and then we'll get into the music here pretty quick. Thank you for the heart me, Libby. I appreciate it. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, for whatever reason, the info for YouTube is not updating for me and it's throwing me off. Kev DJ, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for tapping in today. Appreciate y'all joining. Y'all keep tapping the screen. If y'all are coming in on TikTok too, I would love to know where y'all are joining from or any of the platforms. I would love to know where you're joining from. If you make music, the kind of music that you make, let's chat for just a couple minutes and then we'll kickstart the music here. We'll try to move at a good pace today. I'm just trying to figure out an issue on one of the platforms. So give me just a moment as I aim to figure that out. Let's see. Let me double check. Restream. Arcan, welcome in as well. Appreciate y'all joining. How y'all feeling today? Let's do this. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, of course, Nova. Yeah, there's a different streaming. There's a different streaming submission process, and for whatever reason, it's not updating the info. So you technically submitted to the wrong link, but I'm still be able to pull it up. Thankfully, I still have the emails active. But it's given me some annoying issues, and I'm trying to figure them out. Okay, let me double check some things here. Let's see. There's YouTube active. What's up, Arcan? I appreciate you tapping in. But yeah, you can resend the email 100%. JIT. Good to see you in here. Hope you're doing amazing today. Yep. Let me update this here. So annoying. Okay. Give me just one moment, y'all. Give me one moment while I update a few things. And then I'm running into some issues over on YouTube, but I'll get it figured out here in just 1 second, and then we will be ready to go. I'll explain the live. We'll kickstart the music. I just won't have Nova. I won't have you on the list, but I'll still run you in order, and we'll make sure everything's good to go. So let's see. Nope, don't do that. All right. Let's see. Copy. Boom. Okay, let me update this real quick, and then I'll explain the whole live stream structure here in just a moment. Just one moment. Let's see. You got to get this figured out. Okay, sounds good, Nova. Yeah, let me figure out YouTube. Give me just a moment to figure this out because everyone's going to the wrong place. And I'm trying to keep things organized. It's just an issue with the restream, so I'm trying to get that updated right now as well. Let's see. Submit here. Boom. Come on, update. Boom. Beautiful. Okay, that should be good. One second. And then we'll get things flowing here. Joseph, thank you for the bubble gums. LSO, sorry, I'm just seeing gifts. I looked up for a second. I'm seeing gifts everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate you. Joseph, you're amazing. Thank you for all the bubble gums. LSO, thank you so much for the heart me. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate that so much. Sorry, I got distracted not distracted. I'm focusing on the thing I need to focus on. But thank you for the gifts. I never want to miss the gifts. Okay, thank you all so much for that. I appreciate that a lot. Let me give me just two seconds. I'm getting this saved over here. I'm getting this updated. Let me see if it'll let me. Let me see if this will be active. Okay, now it should be active. Save. Boom. Let me check over here real quick. I'm going to close out the live over here and go back and reload this, and hopefully everything will be ready to go. LSO, Joseph, y'all are the goats. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for the love. I appreciate the support and the generosity. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. Okay, it is. Okay, we're updated on YouTube. Okay, really quick, Nova, just so you're aware in the future, anyone on YouTube actually, just so you're aware in the future, there's a whole new submission process that keeps everything together, keeps everything lined up, keeps everything really, really consistent. And it helps me stay organized so you can easily see the line and edit and move and skip and whatever needs to happen. So all of that is updated on YouTube now. That was the old email. I still have the email, so I'm going to still kick everything off with you. And then let's see, Derek, or I'll make sure everything's in order. Derek Bennett, I got you, man. I appreciate you so much. Let me get this refreshed over here. Gotta pop those bubble gums. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all a lot. Y'all are amazing. It's very, very kind of you. Okay, so really quick, just so you know, I'm going to kick it off with Nova. Nova came in off YouTube. It was submitted to a different profile. So I'm going to run that first. And then Derek Bennett, I have yours in there as well, ready to go. So let's go ahead and kickstart the music. I'm not going to wait any longer. We're going to dive straight into it. Rainbow, welcome in. Do me a huge favor. If y'all are over on TikTok, do me a huge favor. Make sure y'all are tapping the screen like crazy. Share out the live with a couple people. Don't forget to send in your heart me for the day. It does really help out the stream. All right, we're going to get into some music here, but let me go ahead and give my spiel, my Track Talk spiel before we hop on. For those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate y'all being here so much. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to hang out with us, listen to some amazing music, maybe submit some music, but I'm excited for y'all to be here. Thank you for joining, no matter whatever your role is going to be today. I just appreciate y'all hanging out with us for a little bit. If you've never been here before, what we do here at Track Talk are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen deep dive consultations and the structure of your music. We're going to dive deep into the mix and master, production elements, sound design structure, lyric and song formatting. We are going to spend a lot of time, like I said, 20 to 30 minutes going through your song 2 to 3 different times in order to really dive into the mix, master, production elements, sound design, lyrics, all of that good stuff, right? We're going to get into the details of the nuances and the things that you're doing practically and creatively within the structure of your music. We are not here to give you a quick review. There is no trash or pass. There's no ratings. There's no polls. This is a long-form, deep dive analysis to really make sure that we're offering some specific, professional, and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to give you exposure. We're here to really, really break down and talk about the music over that 20 to 30 minutes. Zach, welcome in as well. I appreciate you joining. And so that being said, for those of you who don't know, my name's Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. I've done that for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist. So a lot of the structure and the perspective of the live stream is from that perspective and is pointed in that direction using that experience. If you would like to submit your music and you're over on TikTok, all you got to do is go to the link in my bio and everything is right there for you. Try to keep it as simple and organized as possible. You can move faster if you want to. There's never any pressure to, but you can go to the link in my bio and everything should be right there. Just follow the steps. If you are on the Red app, use your imagination. I say it every once in a while because sometimes they don't mind. If you're on the Red app, you can go to the description for the live stream. It should be updated, should be ready to go. It's been wrong the last couple days, but it should be good now. The Purple app, if you're on the Purple app, you can type !submit right there in the chat and we'll get you up on the board ready to go as well. Let's get into the music. That's my spiel. Let's kick it off. We got Nova in the building. Thank you, Joseph. Love you, man. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for tapping in today, man. You're always so encouraging. Always, always, always so encouraging, man. I appreciate you so much. Decay, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Also, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that a lot. Let's get it rolling here. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling here. So, Derek, I have you up there. I'm actually going to kick off on another platform for theirs first, and then we're going to go back into the aux line, and we'll get everything moving in the right direction, hopefully. Let's see. Let's see. So there's Nova. There's the updated email. Okay, let's get into it. Here's the link. Totally forgot about it. New heavy metal track I just wrote, heavily inspired by Doom, the Dark Ages, mixed and mastered by myself. Let's get into it. We got the drive file. So let's get it moving. Let's get it moving, This is called Inside the Storm by Nova. Nova's over on the Red app right now if you want to go say what's up to them. But let's get into the music, y'all. Once again, if you're on TikTok, tap the screen, share out the live, and don't forget to send your heartbeat. It does really help out the stream. 3 more shows for the day. Let's go, Joseph. Let's go. All right, Inside the Storm by Nova. Let's dive in. Exactly, Joseph, exactly. There's actually plenty of space in this for a vocal as well if you ever wanted to go down that route. Raul, thank you so much for the You're Awesome. I appreciate you a lot. Everything's at the link in my bio. Everything's at the link in my bio. Let's go, Nova. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. The laptop couldn't handle it. I got you. We'll talk about it. I could definitely hear some vocals on here, 100%. Got you, Daniel. Got you. Thank you so much. Cody, welcome in. I love that syncopation. Let's go, Daniel. I love it. McCoy, welcome in. This is Nova. They're over on the Red app right now, but they're killer. They mixed, produced it, everything. Woo! Beautiful. Nasty. Y'all show some love. Show some love. That is, excuse me, that is the real Nova. They're over on the Red app right now. If you want to go check out what they're doing, I highly recommend that y'all touch base with them. Start to get yourself in their world. They're doing some really powerful productions. Incredibly powerful. Everything that you heard is them. So production, structure, mix and master, everything is all them. So show them some love. Let's dive into it. Let's get into some of the structure here, and let's get into some of the kind of the background of the track, some of the details of it. There's a couple little pockets in here I want to address just very briefly. The vast majority of what's happening in this production, I think, sounds absolutely amazing. It's very well structured. It's very dynamic. You have pacing changes, dynamic changes, tonal changes in the song. It sounds fantastic. Jordan, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. And I know I'm missing some questions, but I'm going to get into the song first, and then maybe we can go back a little bit and dive into some of those if there's any that are worth kind of breaking down in the chat. I'm just watching all the different streams right now. Thank you all so much for tapping in today. I really appreciate it. If anyone wants to submit for a 20 to 30 minute multiple listen consultation, everything's at the link in my bio. Just Just let me know if there's anything that you have questions on, either myself or one of the mods can answer, but most of the details should be there. Nova, you were talking about doing your own vocals on here, but my laptop CPU would not handle it. My recommendation for that, because man, I would love to hear your vocals on this, man. I would love to hear you. Very glad you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun writing this one, as I usually do. Yeah, man, it sounds beautiful. It's very, very dynamic and engaging to listen to. I love it so much. As far as this production goes, balance and stuff like that, let me double check a few things here. I'm going to run it back from the top, as we always do. And get into some of these details here as well. Let me back it up. As far as getting your own vocals on here, if your CPU can't handle it, what I would recommend is once you like finalize different aspects of the mix, I would stem them out printed and then bring them into a brand new session that you only need to do vocals on. That's going to be one of the easiest ways for if you don't have like the computing capability to like actually, handle the amount of RAM that it takes to have a bunch of live vocal sessions with tuning and reverbs and delays, compressors, EQs, de-essers, all of that stuff on there in tandem with your entire session of, quad tracked guitars, doubled basses, drums, tracked out to auxes. Like that can be obviously a lot depending on the system that you have. So I would just take do a pretty detailed stem out, do a pretty detailed like group export into a brand new session. And so what you can do is do it instead of like multi-track, which would be everything, 50 tracks, everything individualized, or, typical groups would be like guitar, percussion, bass, background vocals, or whatever. That's like a little bit less, nuanced. Do like a less broad stem out or group out, and do maybe like rhythm guitars, drums, lead guitars, synths, bass, and then you can kind of, compartmentalize a little bit there. Try to get like maybe eight different groups or 8 different stems that way. Export those out and then bring them into a brand new session, and they're printed and they're clean and they're exactly where you want them, but you still have a little bit of control. So if you need to do like a multi-band on the leads to tuck something in and help control some of the high-end frequency, if you need to do some mid-side processing on the quad track guitars and give it all of this energy and dynamic on the outside, but it's stepping on the toes of the lead vocal a little bit, you can still do that. You still have some level of control, but 0 plugins on them. That's what's nice, is you can, stem them out and have 0 plugins on them, and then open fresh channels for your fresh tracks for your vocals, without having to worry about your computing, because it would basically be like just having eight audio files, which is nothing. That's 4 megabytes a piece if you just out them, or maybe a little bit more if you're doing a little bit more, obviously, if you're pumping out waves. So, but even there, for a song of this length, if it's just audio files, 40 to 60 megabytes or something like that, nothing too crazy, but that'll allow you to go into a fresh session and it'd be just as impactful on your CPU as having like 8 loops off splice on there. That's nothing, right? Like your computer can easily handle that. You could drop another 16 vocals in there and you'd be fine. That will open up a world for you to actually start to do this, but I would do really detailed stems. So you have, you can really section it out and then dump it into a brand new session, save everything as, and then you'll be ready to go. Ready to go. Thank God you could give me advice on that. I've even upgraded my mic recently because my last one was total garbage. Amazing, dude. Amazing. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited now at the proposition of being able to hear some of your vocals in a song like this. I think it's powerful. So let's get into it. There's really, as far as like this track goes, that's one thing, just future speaking, that'll give you some tools. If you're running into issues, print. The reason why most people run into issues, even with pretty powerful CPUs and pretty powerful RAM, is an organization sometimes, but it's also just keeping things active too long, where you have like a ton of MIDI lanes, you have like a ton of audio lanes. Every single one of them's got 8 plugins on it. You have 6 vocal channels open. All of them have like Melodyne and auto tune and 2 compressors and a de-esser and an EQ and a saturator, whatever. And then you have sending all those to a bus, and on the bus you have another compressor. Like that's where it gets really heavy. That's where you get a really, really heavy load on the CPU, is keeping things too open. So once you find a sound you really, really like and you only want to make minor tweaks to it, if any at all, print them. Like a lot of times that's what I'll do when I have like a vocal that's been Melodyne. Now I can just use ARA, and it's built into it's just built into my Pro Tool waveform right there. I can keep it a little bit more consistent. But if I need to, and like I know that this early EQ right here, like this early EQ where I'm like high passing to 80 hertz, I'm a dB and a half down for some mud at 100 to 300 hertz. That's not an EQ I'm going to change on like a lead vocal, right? Like that's not a lead vocal that I'm going to make some crazy like stylistic change to that particular reductive EQ early on in the chain. Print it. You know what I mean? Like once I track my vocal in or get the file from the client, I clean up clip gaining, I clean up noise, I do some manual tuning, with the ARA with Melodyne, I get all of that exactly where I want it to be. And I add like an early reductive thing, just print it. I don't need that EQ on 70 different files. If I have like a synth that I'm like, maybe I'm running an analog into an audio file, or I'm running MIDI to an analog synth and I'm running back in there, and I know I just want to clean up some low end mud and I high pass it at 90 hertz. I don't need that running the whole, I just print it. I know I need that high pass. I'm just going to lock it in where it is, and I can do some processing after that. But yeah, I would highly recommend just printing some stuff as you go. For one, it'll just help you commit to your sound. You can spend as anyone here who produces knows, you can spend endless hours and hours and hours and days and days and days, just, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And before you know it, you hate the song and stuff. Sometimes one of the ways to mitigate that is just commit to your sound. Just like, no, I put this guitar in there because I like the way that it sounds, and I can make some small adjustments and like just add a stock EQ in your new session for some like really low latency stuff. You can do some, small things like that. But for the most part, commit to your sound, commit to your ideas, and then move on creatively after that. It definitely will help with your CPU load, but it'll also help with you just streamlining your process of getting ideas out. Okay, so beyond that, there's one little thing I'm listening for here. Most of this, 99% of this sounds fantastic. It sounds amazing. Not even worried about it. Most of the mix of this and the balance of the different elements sounds super dynamic, super heavy. I love a lot of what I'm hearing. It sounds really, 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 really well done. There's one, so you have like, I think quad, right? I'm pretty sure quad sounds like quad at least. Just the way it's mixed, which is really powerful and really dynamic. Thank you, Raul. I appreciate your gifts, man. 7-piece Estonian pop rock band here. Would love to get your feedback on production and mix. Absolutely. Is it Arc Part? Thank you so much for tapping in. Everything's at the link in my bio. I appreciate you being here. Everything's right there. You can check the line there as well. There's your big tracks on the outside, right? They're heavy, they're massive. It's a wall of sound. I love them so much. You have a closer to mono. Yeah, closer. It has stereo information. It's not a strict mono track, but closer to mono on this filtered guitar in the middle. This carries a lot of your early chugs, right? This carries a lot of your early rhythmic, palm muted and opened items early in the song. It happens a couple other times in the song, but this is carrying a lot of your center filtered information for your guitar stacks, which are massive. Yeah, quad guitars, one bass, exactly. They sound massive, right? This early one right here, we're running into some timing issues. Some of it might just be because of what is filtered, and maybe because of the palm mutes and the closing and opening of the palm mutes and stuff like that. Some of the low end information that we get, I think, comes in like it feels a little bit early. When it brightens up, maybe you hear more of those transients, you hear more of the top end, you get a little bit more of that energy, and the main part of the guitar I think sounds a little bit better. The early parts where it's really, really filtered down, I feel like I'm getting a lot more of the a lot more of the low end information, where I'm hearing like the initial palm kind of hit again, and then those low muted elements, and they feel rushed. They feel early, I think, a couple times. So I'm going to hear it here for a second. This kind of drives the whole intro of the song, though, and a couple other transitions in the song, and it's part of what's making some of it feel really, really off time. The only reason why I bring this up, with some level of detail, is everything else in the song is really sharp, gated, on the grid, quantized. You know what I mean? Like your synths are locked onto the grid, your sequences are locked onto the grid, your guitars are gated, powerful, really, really tight to your like percussion. The percussion, obviously, VST, locked to the grid, quantized, consistent dynamic and velocity. So because all of that is so locked to the grid and everything is so consistent, it makes anything outside of that way more obvious. So when you have a guitar that's like, feels like it's, 20, 30 milliseconds off time, feels like it's rushed in the pocket or feels really late in the pocket, or it's an inconsistent riff, whatever it may be, it's much more obvious because everything else is so tight to the grid. I would suggest really fine tuning whether you could honestly do this through Melodyne, you could just do it within the waveform. You might need to just take this early filtered guitar right here and bump it back 10, 20 milliseconds, and that might fix it. That might make it perfect. Or the other way, we'll have to listen to it again. But that's just one of the very, very few things that I hear, is just positioning that timing a little bit better, because it does feel, once it's filtered, like you lose a little bit of the pocket. And once everything comes in, it explodes. It sounds crazy. It sounds absolutely phenomenal. But that early pocket, we're struggling just a little bit to articulate, I think, the rhythm of those mutes in the background. Kasani, so good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing amazing today. Good to see you. Like all of this is locked. I think it is rushed 20, 30 mil. It's in front just a little bit. I think, my intuition tells me that if we take just that guitar right there alone, with the mutes right there and the mute to open, if we take that one guitar and move it back 20, 30 milliseconds, it'll just realign with the rest of the guitar structure, the boom, boom, and the outside. Like it'll realign with everything, and all of a sudden the intro will feel way sharper. It'll feel way more connected, way more cohesive. So that's just like my gut intuition on this early part. Most of the rest of this sounds fantastic. Might be off time because I had trouble playing that when recording. I originally wrote the riff slower, but played it faster for this track. That might just be part of it. It could just be a performance thing. It could be latency compensation. It could be any number of things that are causing it to feel a little bit more forward in the pocket right there. And so just realigning some of those elements. Like you said, if you end up recording it a little bit faster or with slightly inconsistent time, you can definitely, because I struggled to play in a bit. So just realign a couple of those elements, go in and maybe chop a couple things and restructure it right there. Find a really good it's largely the same pocket with a filter that opens up. So you might even be able to find like a really consistent riff in that and just repeat that riff and crossfade so it's seamless, or kind of comp that guitar in instead of playing the whole thing for the first 35 seconds. You play, maybe 4 measures of it, 4 bars of it, and then loop that for the next, 8 measures. So it's a little bit more consistent. You only have to play it like twice to get a really solid riff, and then just copy over and then open up your filter naturally. There's a couple different things that you could do just to kind of like lock it in and feel like everything feels a little bit more consistent, especially if it's a riff you're struggling to play. Then, put it in your favor a little bit. You can utilize Melodyne to kind of realign a couple things that I think you'll be in a good spot. Give me 1 second. Let me just double check over here. So Derek Bennett, I got you. Daniel, I got you, of course. And Arg, I got you as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all submitting. Welcome into the stream. And again, same place you submitted. You could also check the line if you want to keep your eye on where you're at in the line as well. Let me keep it rolling in the song really quick. And let's run it. Mr. Nick, welcome in. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Play it. Once you hit here, it's open. It's open. Thank you for the heartbeat. Appreciate it. And then print what you need to and add those vocals. Yep. Love it. It's a small detail, like you said, you might re-record it and get it better in time. It's a small detail, but it is the kind of early mood determinant of the intro of the song. You know what I mean? Like it's the intro of the song, heavy hits, and then kind of an out-of-time guitar. Then heavy hits, big drums, kind of out-of-time guitar. So it is just one of those factors that even though it's a small detail in the scale of this, in the whole landscape of this production, it is really important to how you're setting the energy for the song. So I do think it's worthwhile keeping that a little bit tighter, maybe even filtering it a little bit more. There's a couple different, maybe even potentially, because the rhythm's a little bit harder moving through that at the faster pace, maybe even a slight reduction in overdrive as well could help articulate that line a little bit more. Play around with it. But I think if you go back and recomp it, I do think it'll be to your benefit, where you can really polish that portion right there and some of the transitions that also use that sound. The rest of these, the quad tracks sound incredibly heavy, man. They're really articulate. You can hear the riff cleanly, still has a weight to it, still has a lot of body to it. To me, it is not really sounding muddy. I can still distinguish the bass. And there is, like I said, there's room for a vocal. So if you decide to tackle it yourself or find another vocalist, I definitely think that you have space to make something work here that's really strong. Beautiful. Yeah, but the rest of this sounds really clean, really articulate. Everything's blending together really well. So I'm not too worried about it. Emily, welcome in. I'm not worried about it. The rest of the structure sounding really good. There's just a couple of those transitions. I think you also utilize the filtered guitar. So there's a couple little pockets in the song wherever you have that track or a similar one. Just readdress timing, readdress comping there if it feels like it's necessary, depending on where it's at in the track. Beyond that, print, organize, stem out for another, like actual group out, stem out for another session, add some vocals on there. You'll be ready to go, man. Come on. right. I mean, that's killer. I love the like automation and the harmonics in here and in here as well. It makes it feel really fresh. It gives it a really nasty tone, tons of tension and dissonance. There's a lot that I love about this. Jeremiah, welcome in. There's a lot that I really love about just the energy behind a lot of your transitions here. They're really, really well done. Let me get into the last section here. Yeah, this is great, Nova. It's awesome. Well done, man. I'm ready for some vocals. I'm ready for some vocals, man. Amazing, 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 amazing. Y'all show some love to the real Nova. They are over on the Red app right now. Show them some love and support. They've got some amazing music. They got music out as well, so you can find them over on Spotify as well. Show them some love and support. That's the family right there. Please show some love to Nova in the building. Now we're going to head back over to Ox and we'll dive into the main submission profile here. Of course, man, anytime. I'm excited for you to get some vocals on there, Nova. That's got me hyped. That's got me energized, man. That's amazing. Let's get into it. We're going to head back over here. Let me just refresh a couple things, and then we're going to dive into the music once again. Back over on the platform here. If y'all are wanting to submit, if you're over on TikTok, do me a huge favor for one. Make sure y'all are tapping the screen like crazy. Share out the live with a few people. Don't forget to send your heart me. It does really help out the live stream quite a bit. And then also, if you would like to submit your music for a 20 to 30 minute deep dive consultation, just go to the link in my bio. You'll see everything that you need right there. If you're on the Red app, you can go to the description for the live stream. Should be updated. And if you're on the Purple app, you can type ! Submit right there in the chat. But let's keep it rolling. We got Derek Bennett in the building with Eva Luna Ortiz on the feature. This is called How Amazing. Watching on the big screen. It's game day, Derek. It's game day. Let's go. Let's go. We got Track Talk on the big screen. Welcome in, man. It's good to see you again. This is How Amazing by Derek Bennett. You know the deal better than anyone. Give me the details. Talk me through what the song is. I say this every time. I think I've heard this one. Maybe just the name is similar. Maybe it's an update on one of them, but let me know. And let's dive into it. This might be fresh, actually. We'll see.
How amazing is your name?
Did you track with him?
All the earth, Lord our Lord. You have set your glory in the heavens, in the heavens.
Okay, cool. Chad, welcome in.
Consider the work of your hands, the moon and the stars. How could you think of me? You have crowned us with glory.
Like the introduction to the shaker there. Nice beaded shaker. I like that.
You silence the flow and the enemies. How amazing is your name in all the earth, Lord our Lord.
probably more the hook here. Yeah, let me know structure. Yeah. Ooh, I like the guitar. Yeah, I see. Oh, interesting move to triplets here. Yeah. That's kind of what I was imagining. We'll talk about it. That was you. I was going to ask when we got off. I was going to ask who the second vocalist. That's nice. I like it. Let's go. Y'all show some love. That is Derek Bennett Music right here in the chat. Show him some love and support. Let's run it from the top. Let's get straight into it. Yeah, so the biggest thing for me, I mean, most of the production itself, again, pre-mix, I'm not worried about it. Most of the production itself sounds really, really nice. It's dynamic, it's cinematic, it's contemporary, it has a lot of emotion to it. I'm not too worried about it. The early, like really heavy filter drums are just really, really prominent. Ones like we talked about, I think with the last song, those probably just need to be down like 6 dB or something. They're just very, very punchy. And so the jump that they take in dynamics is really dramatic. And so it leaves less space to kind of naturally grow. So just keep those a little bit more in the background. And I think you can more naturally step up here in just a little bit. Apache, thanks for tapping in. If you or anybody would like to submit your music for a consultation, go to my link in my bio and just read through the details there. Should be really easy to submit right there as well. I like my drums hitting when I'm making this 100%. And I think here's the thing too, is like in a good mix, they still will in like the right way and in the right context, right? So it's when you go into the mixing, like you'll be able to like position them in a way, compress them in a way where you still get some energy behind them, but they're not necessarily taking, because when they first come in here, we'll go back through it. When they first come in, they just kind of take over the vocal, and all of my attention is kind of drawn to the heaviness of the production now, as opposed to still listening to the lyrics. Biggest thing for me is structure though, because I think this has like the ability to be a pretty cut and clean, like, contemporary, like alternative pop record. And obviously in this context, a worship song, but as far as like balance goes and production goes, this to me here, this is a hook. It's a hook every single day. You know what I mean? Like as far as like the progression of it, you're going off the one, in this case, the F. Like that's a hook through and through, right? And so what I'm kind of interested in and figuring out, I don't know how this would work with the lyrics that you have or the melodies that you have here. I'm sorry, the vocal tracks that you have, if you have any ability to get others. But I would actually, personally speaking, I would separate out the song and restructure it to have this hook earlier on, maybe a low one. If not a low one, just when you dig into the drums here, kind of halfway through the first part of the song, adding in the hook right here. It definitely needs that separation right there. Otherwise it is, it's almost a 4.5 minute song. And like the first 2.5 minutes are kind of just this ebbing build up right there that doesn't ever quite get the relief of going to the hook and kind of resolving those melodies and stuff like that. So I am curious. What's up, Void? Welcome in. I am curious if we can, either with the vocals that you have or maybe with getting a fresh hook on there, do a low hook in between the verses instead of verse, because right now it's kind of just like it's like verse. There's some pre's kind of built into there, so they feel really long in the verses too. They're like a minute a piece or longer. So you have like kind of, verse pre already before you get into like kind of a bridge and then a hook that kind of takes you to the end of the song. So I do think we need to like chop this up and rearrange it, in my personal opinion, chop it up and kind of rearrange it a little bit to make sure that it doesn't feel like each part of this song, because each part of the song is good, works well together, feels cohesive, but each part of the song is really long. So when we're in the first section on these verses, it feels very, very run on. And then when we get to this big part at the end of the song, even just looking at the waveform, the last 2 minutes and 2 seconds are all kind of right there in that space. So I think if we can kind of chop this and rearrange it a little bit, it will give you a little bit more support for what you're doing, and I think it'll open up the song a little bit more too. All right, let's run it from the top real quick. We'll chop through a couple things, but yeah, I think that bullet points it. So those kind of what I'm listening for, what I'm looking for, and then how you go about changing structure obviously is completely up to you. If you just don't want to, then obviously that makes sense too. But I do think it's going to be a little bit harder to grab people and keep their attention to get to this point, which is so dynamic. It takes a lot of energy to maintain people's attention going up through that. You're doing a much better job too of higher drones. It makes a huge difference. Much higher drones, like it's an octave or 2 octave higher than usual. That just gives you all of the space to build underneath it. That's way easier to hear.
How amazing is your name in all the earth.
I'm wondering if we can stair step these harmonies dry for the first, 4 measures or so here, or 8 measures here. Like I wonder if we can keep this. I wonder if we can keep that just the singular vocal, and then right after that, add in the harmony on the B section of this first part. It's again kind of just a lot of like that information right off the bat when the production is literally single note drum pad in the background and really simple high piano, progression. And so I think it's a lot to have already the third note in that register. I think we can probably simplify a little bit. Have this all dry.
How amazing is your name
Just lead vocal.
in all the earth, Lord our Lord.
And then come in here with the harmonies. Potentially.
You have set your glory in the heavens.
Lana, welcome in.
In the heavens.
Matador got you. Thank you so much. And then these, I think just a little bit down in the mix. They'll crisp up in the they'll crisp up in the mix once you get all this balanced out and positioned and structured where you want it. But I would fine tune this just a little bit so it doesn't feel like there's so much happening too soon. So it's like it's still keeping all of the elements that you have here and just being a little bit more strategic with how and when they come in and how loud they come in. So it's like, yes, the harmonies are great. Maybe put them on the B section of that early pocket, because then you still have 2 more full like 8 measure breakdowns of the verse when the drums come in. So when the drums come in, love the way the drums sound. I love the punch behind them. They have some great saturation on them and filters on them. Just bring them down by 5 dB so they feel a little more connected to the rest of the instrumentation. And it'll just feel like a more natural jump and dynamic right there.
Of your hands, the moon round us with glory.
So this, to me, this needs to be hook right here, right? Because otherwise this is we're going here, technically, I think like you said, to another verse, super, super long. I think like for the average consumer in any genre, even like in worship and contemporary music, like even in this genre, that gets really, really long. It gets really, really long. So once you finish this here,
The moon and the stars, how could you think of me?
and then boom, 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 ka, and then bring in some big drums right there so you can go back to the other dynamics. Like maybe build up this hook a decent amount. Mason Oaks, good to see you, brother. Maybe build up the dynamics here a pretty fair amount so you get a ton of energy, a ton of swell right here. A fairly big hook, I think, would treat the song really well because we start so small. We start so intimate that I think having a good hook here would be really powerful. And then go, in my opinion, again, I'm tossing ideas out here. In my opinion, go straight here.
We give you
I I would literally do this, dude. I would, those drums would be great right here.
The moon and the stars.
And then
How could you think of me?
right here,
We give you
dude, that'd be so good.
the moon and the stars. How could you think of me? We give you
That's a hook. If that's how it transitioned, let's go back to the verse then. Just do it one time through. Or I guess it's twice technically. So do all this. And then second verse here. Back to here. Back to this dynamic right here. So we're just like, we're chopping, we're rearranging. Already higher dynamics here. So much more energy.
You silence the flow and the enemy.
And then straight to hook. 2, 3,
We give you
and build up here. Like that to me sounds like so tight. You know what I mean? Like that to me feels so locked into like what the song is. If I heard it that way, I wouldn't second guess a single thing. It won't feel long because the dynamics are way, way, way tighter, right? If you rearrange this a little bit and go heavy hook, so basically intro part, this thrown in the middle.
in all the earth.
Is that this right here, basically?
How amazing is
Yeah, because that's basically, so here's, man, you want to really mess, we could really, I mean, I am throwing a wrench in your system right now, but I'm telling you, it's so much more engaging. This,
your glory.
it's basically that verse again, right?
In the heavens, in the heavens.
Yeah, because we lose steam too many times. Where it doesn't quite get us there. So here's what I think. I think you can do this as an interlude, going back into a hook, right? So imagine you do this. Let me see where this sits on the waveform here.
It all is your name. Amazing.
Okay, so imagine this, right? So and then I'll bullet point it for you so you can watch it on the video or document it yourself. I'll give you exactly what I would do. Hook here, right? Let's imagine this is a big hook. Let's say this is the end of your second big hook. Bring it down for this verse again. And then
How amazing is your name.
bring it down. This is like your bridge.
In all the earth, Lord our Lord.
1, 2, 3. You glory. You go crazy. You know what I mean? Like just that little pocket, just like that little pocket right here, straight back into the hook again. And then this feels like wildly dynamic. It feels emotional. It feels powerful. It feels like there's so much more energy to it. Nika, welcome in. Thanks for that. Lana, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. So here's what I'm imagining. Okay. Intro and first verse is the same. Nothing wrong with that. Decent little dynamic buildups there. Just need to be polished in how you do it, in my opinion. Intro, verse, and I'll use my hand for dynamics here, okay? so it'll somewhat make sense. Intro, first verse, hook, full hook. I mean, I think a full big hook. Second verse, full big hook. Down to the first part of that first verse again, just for that line, ending hook. Maybe instrumental, you know what I mean? Like, but now, do you see how the dynamics are shifting? I mean, you know, intro, low verse, super dynamic hook, kind of in the middle, second verse, super dynamic hook, really low intimate moment back to that first verse, little pocket, super dynamic hook at the end. Now the song has so much of a broad dynamic. It feels so interesting to listen to because of those dynamics. I mean, it starts here, it goes up here, goes to the middle, goes back up, goes all the way down and then back up again. But it is really tied to the structure of the song. Like it all makes sense. It all lines up really beautifully. To me, it'd be easier if I didn't have. I mean, so what you can do. Oh, you're in Ableton. You're in Ableton. You can create markers. You'll have to watch videos on this. I don't know how it looks in here. I don't do this. There's not too often that I take a whole production and I flip it on its head like this. You can do it though. You can create markers in your DAW. I don't know exactly how this is functioned in Ableton just because I'm on Pro Tools. And I don't do it too often, so I'd have to dive into it even on Pro Tools. But you can create, pockets of the song. Like this is like verse 1 marker into verse 2 into hook marker, whatever. And then you can select what's in those markers. Yeah, but you can do it in a way that's really easy because where all you have to do is select on the top and it'll move the whole section. It'll move everything if you just select it at the top within those markers, and then you can move that entire section without having to worry about those where the tracks are sitting or something like that. It's probably not going to be the most fun. Maybe it'll be easy. Maybe it's simple. Maybe it'll get figured out. But I do think it's worthwhile. I do. And the good thing is that you have all this. Like you can literally just copy over a lot of the MIDI. You know what I mean? Like you could literally just take a lot of this and move it over, and it should like work fine. You shouldn't run into it's a little puzzle. Yeah, it's a little fun Saturday afternoon puzzle that you got to do to make a great song. That's all it is. It's super easy. It might be complex in some of it, making sure all the MIDI realigns and just making sure that when you select one group, if there's like an outlier waveform, that it still selects it. Little things like that. It's going to be annoying, but I can nearly assure you that as a song structure goes, it'll be like to me, I hear things that I like. So I hear production. I like the sounds of the production. I hear vocals. I like the sounds of the vocal, but the way that it's like formatted in the song is too spread out in the way the dynamics change. And so I think if you flip this on its head a little bit, I know it's crazy. I mean, this is remixing the song before it's even out. If you remix this a little bit and change the structure, even just broadly, I can promise you it'll sound so much more dynamic. It'll be super, super, like super engaging to listen to. I can see the vision, so I'll be good to do. Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Everything else that I'm hearing here, harmony structure, lead vocals, those melodies that I'm hearing, production structure, it all sounds awesome. All sounds really, really nice, man. You also saw that. I feel stupid saying that kind of a little bit. I'm like, yeah, everything sounds perfect. Just rearrange the whole song. It sounds kind of silly to say. It's perfect, dude. Just flip all of this around. But the sounds, the sonics, the aesthetic of the song, I think you've done a fantastic job, man. It's really, really nicely done. You also some, yeah, perfect. Just reverse the whole thing, dude. Of course. Seriously, the sound design, production, chef's kiss. It's really powerful. It's really weighty. Those guitars are sounding amazing in the background as well, man. You're crushing it. Seriously. The last couple of productions I've heard from you have sounded really, really nice. You also show up to the family, Derek Bennett Music. If you need a producer in the style, cinematic, contemporary, you work in worship, gospel, stuff like that, definitely reach out to Derek. He's your man. Show him some love and support. That's the family right there. Let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. If you are over on TikTok and you would like to submit your music for what we're doing right here, which are 20 to 30 minute deep dive consultations on the structure of your music, just go to the link in my bio. You'll see everything that you need right there. If you're on the red app, go to the description. If you are on the purple app, type ! Submit. Let's keep it rolling. We've got Matador in the building. Matador, hop in the chat. It was a long 2 to 3. Yeah, 10x that. A long 2 to 3 minutes. Let's keep it rolling. We got Matador in the building. I'll give it just a second just to make sure that they're here. If they're not, of course, we'll dive into it, and then we can, everything is just so y'all know, too, in case you miss anything, your Wi-Fi cuts out, you got to leave for a second. We'll go through the full 20 minutes no matter what. We'll still go back. We'll still chop through everything. Everything is safe to YouTube, so there is a playlist on YouTube that is called Track Talk Livestream. There's like 97 episodes over there. You can just find the most recent one of whenever you were on there. Find your song and the whole breakdown. Every single breakdown that we do, every single consultation is saved over there. So just in case you have to leave for a moment or you miss out on something changes, you lose signal, whatever it might be, everything is saved over there. So you can always make sure that you're set and you're ready to go. Yeah. Running on a different sound, I can see where, yeah, that's where we are currently. And you can move if you want to. You can always add to it. You can always skip. That's up to you. Completely up to you. There's no pressure. But if you feel like you need to go faster or want to go faster, that's completely up to you. Or if you do end up having to leave, like I said, I'll go through the full structure. We'll break it down like crazy, get into the details of it. And then you can watch the full saved breakdown, the full video of everything that you're doing over on YouTube as well on the live stream playlist. Okay, let's keep it rolling. We got Mark's song, Razor's Edge by Matador. Matador, give me all of the details. He said, looking for opinions on how to improve. So let's dive in, man. Give me the details. Talk to me about the role that you play in your music. Talk to me about kind of the structure of what you're doing. And if y'all are over on TikTok, do me a huge favor. Make sure y'all are tapping the screen, like the live, share out the live with a few people. And don't forget to send in your heart me for the day. It does really help out the live stream. Also, I would love to do a credit giveaway at 20,000 likes. So definitely make sure that y'all are tapping the screen. But this is Mark's song, Razor's Edge. Let's get into it. Loading audio. Vova, welcome in. Nicole, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing amazing today. Welcome in. Chaz, welcome in. Have I heard your music before? Or is this the first time? Was it too hard to ask? Am I trying to make my wife think I'm cool? It's not working. Looking to you for help. Okay, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, Matt, but I promise I'll do my best. First stop is our last. I won't be able to manage that over the course of the live. So if you're not here, just double check the live after whenever you're able to have time, or if someone else is able to do that. But I can't manage that for everyone. I have you in the line though, so I have your file and everything. Talk to me a little bit about what you're doing to produce, what you're using, and stuff like that too. Margot, welcome in. Primo, welcome in. Shout out to Reaper. Let's go. There's some like 80s classic rock in there. You know what I mean? Late 80s. Yeah, Nicole, 100%. Great voice. What's the other vocal in there? It's a kid vocal, right? Shane, welcome in. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Show some love. Matador right here. That's amazing. I love that. That's awesome. I was here in the background. I was like, I'm assuming that's not you. But show some love to Matador right here in the chat. Amazing, amazing job. There's a lot about this that I love. I think you have a fantastic voice. I mean, there's a couple artists that come through here that I feel like you would blend really, really well with it. Well, Libby would know who's the artist that we always obsess over. I kind of think of his name right now because he comes in under a different account sometimes, and I forget the name. But the other 80s classic rock artist that comes in, self-produces everything as well. Can't think of his name right now. Anyways, but he's a powerhouse as well. So I love your voice. Stylistically, I like a lot of what's going on within the structure of your music. I think it sounds really, really well done. For me, a lot of this is going to come down to, I think, like formatting, structure, some mixing details, some progression clarity. I think every once in a while would be nice. And then for me, a lot of the filtering to me is a bit compact, where we're losing a lot of like the energy and body behind the production, just like presence in the low end of the roads and stuff like that. You have a nice like stage 73 at the bottom end there. I wish that filled out a little bit more of the mix, and we got some more of that energy and some more of that vibrancy underneath the mix. So we can talk about a couple little details within that kind of range. But I think you're doing a lot of cool stuff. I mean, if it's any help to you and your wife, I think you're super cool, man. I think you're super cool. So let's dive into it, man. Let's get into some of these details. Dero, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing today. Y'all keep tapping the screen. Do me a favor, share it the live. I would love to do a giveaway later on, so definitely make sure y'all are liking the live. And if you want to submit your music and you're over on TikTok, just go to the link in my bio. Everything is right there. Okay, let's run it from the top. Because like right in here, even right in here, right now, I don't mind this initially being filtered, but once we go to like a hook structure, we might want to open that. Like you have this early progression that works really well together. To me, it feels like I'm getting some of the tension of the air, which to me, I think sounds awesome. So I want to maintain as much of that tension as possible. The early piano to me, are you just tracking in MIDI? Because I think a little bit of what, tracking it, and then I'm assuming it's quantized, or at least most of it is quantized. I think one of the, right, like the consistency of the quantization and like buildup of velocity. The velocity does build up a little bit. The consistency of that to me is one of those kind of indicators of something feeling a little bit too rigid and really natural sound design. Like most of this is really natural, like, strings, guitar, strings, Rhodes, piano, grand piano, stuff like that, where it's like really natural production as far as like the aesthetic of it, the sonics of it, and then kind of rigid, over-filtered, like quantization and EQ, where I'm hearing the process a little bit as opposed to just like the song, as opposed to just having, I'm going to switch to my other piano real quick. As opposed to just having, the... That just because that is like subtly unquantized because I'm just playing it live, just being unquantized to me, it makes it feel more like I can imagine like Queen playing this, and I can like see them at the piano. You know what I mean? Like I can see it happening. Feels a little bit more natural. So what I would do if you are quantizing your MIDI, and your velocity is really high in your MIDI, and you're just increasing automation on volume or velocity, just in the VST or in your automation lanes and stuff like that, I would definitely make sure that you are taking some of that off of the grid, so it doesn't feel too dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? Where it's like that's very rigid and just its format right there. I got you. I'll answer whatever the rest of that is here in a sec. And so I would just take some of it off the grid, or if you're able to play it, like if you play keys, this depends obviously a little bit on if you're a keys player, you know how to play piano prolifically, or if you're inputting in MIDI a little bit and kind of blending that a little bit, or just doing it through a controller and so on and so on. And so what's up, Magic? Welcome back in. If you're trying to build a little bit more of that out, take some of this off the grid, either be able to play it and not quantize it, or one thing that I do sometimes, depending on the song, let's say I'm working on a pop record or like a synth pop record or something like that, and I know I have like maybe the progression similar to what you're doing. Like if that's the part of the song right there, if I'm going to quantize, sometimes I'll only quantize bass note, because that can be disguised a little bit behind like maybe a finger bass or an upright bass. It can be disguised under like a low synth or a pad, the kick drum kicking in for a second, which is going to kind of disguise like where that's actually sitting on the grid. So I might only quantize here. So all of that's like right on the grid, but all of this, whatever melody it is, right? All of that might be a little bit looser. And just that little bit of extra movement off the grid on the right hand can really help make the song feel more alive. Just because this early piano to me It does feel a little on the nose. It's a little rigid. I'm hearing and feeling the processing in here as opposed to just the natural flow. Some of that has to do, with the VST you choose, the actual source that you choose, but a lot of it just has to do with it feeling more human, feeling a little bit more natural, especially in this genre. I might say something different if this was a lead in to like an EDM record. I'd be like, yeah, you can lock all this in. But just because of what you're doing, that's where I would open this up a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Also keep in mind, a little bit of clipping as you build up frequency there, and you start to move up, kind of pentatonically there. You get a little bit of buildup right there. Just keep in mind your levels as well. All of this is going to add up, right? It's not like any one of these things are like game-changing ideas, but all of these add up to the finished product and how you present it to people. So that's why I'm going to go into a lot of detail here. That low end walk up right there, there's a couple different elements in the mix that start to clip a little bit. So just double check where that is actually sitting. So right now you're clipping a little bit at the top end right there. So you might just need to turn down that piano by 3 or 4 dB, maybe add a compressor over the top of it that's getting you another about, let's say, 3 or 4 dB of compressor. Like even on this piano right here, I have an LA2A on it. And right there, you can hear that that's like really natural sound. That doesn't sound like there's a crazy amount of compression. And it can still be really dynamic, right? Right? I can still play with a lot of dynamic. I'm getting 7 dB of compression on the LA2A. The LA2A is great for LA2A is great for stuff like this, where you can put a lot into it, and it's very it allows a lot. It gives you a lot of space. Brown, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. It leaves a lot of space for those transients to still be fulfilled. It leaves a lot of space for things to sound really natural and really warm. It's one of the reasons why I like it on piano, sometimes the bass and things like that, where it lets a lot of that natural tone in and keeps things feeling a little bit more even. So that's kind of what I'll be looking on what you're doing as well. Because right now, not only is like the velocity strict and the quantization is really strict, but also that piano is just allowed to leap through the mix. So when you start playing really hard and there's a big buildup of energy, you then also are just starting to clip at the top. So a couple things is on the VST itself, or however you're inputting piano, bring it down 3 or 4 dB. And then on top of that, put a nice, I like a slow release, a slow release compressor like an LA2A. It does a great job. You could also, use a stock EQ. It doesn't really matter. Reaper, it doesn't matter. Because I think you said you're using Reaper. So you can use anything. Use a stock EQ, just have a nice slow release so you can attack it a little bit, but it's going to let go of it, pretty slowly so that it maintains a bit of a grab on the signal and doesn't repump, without too many issues. And you just give it like 3 or 4 dB of reduction, and that will also help kind of control it and keep it locked into the mix. So a couple little things like that so that this piano doesn't sound too fakey. Now we switch into the Rhodes coming in. Or this actually, it might even be like a 200A, like a Wurlitzer 200A or something like that. You never left the keys on the counter for me. I love your voice. And that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I love your voice. I think you're doing some really fun things. Like, this style is really inspiring to me. Like, I love this space. I think you're doing so many things really, really well. So I want you to keep chipping at this because you have a lot of structural things here that I love. It's just about molding this in a way that does feel a little bit more polished, feels a little bit more professional. And it also just really gives the energy, like the energy that you're putting into the song, you're going to get out of the song, right? You're putting all of this energy into lyrics and musicianship and tracking and equipment and whatever, plugins, stuff like that. You want to get that energy back out of the song. Dude, I love you too, man. I think you're amazing. Okay, let's get a little deeper in here. Let's see. I love the chorus, like, Bucket Brigade, electric guitars on the left. We're running away, Good doubles. There's a lot that I like about this. First stop is our last. So here, I would really suggest here getting a little bit of a bass coming into the mix. Valerie, welcome in. I would love getting a little bit of bass in the mix right here. So we're in this low, we're in the low D major line here, in the D major, A major, C major, G-ish, right? And it kind of floats around in a couple different places, but largely speaking, that's where we're at, right here. would love to get some of this. Like, I'll show you this just real quick, just so you have an idea of what I'm imagining. I would love, you can do this so easy and so simply. Just do it in MIDI, do it with basic plugins. Just get you even like a bad sounding finger bass from like a stock plugin in Reaper. I'll just use the stock plugin in Pro Tools. You can see what I'm talking about. And let's see, where's my, I love this song, man. It's cool. Soft finger bass, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let me add this in, and I'm actually going to add the LA2A. I'll add it to this cheap, horrible sounding bass at the same time too, so you can get a little bit of this. Oops, that's still my piano. So now this given us a chunk of control, good amount of compression right there. And this is just a cheesy stock bass from Pro Tools. And all I'm gonna do is just add it underneath, moving to this hook here. Change progression there, right? But even just that introduction, of just boom, just keep it simple, boom. It could just be the most basic thing, filter down in the background, a bit of compression to control it, and just tuck it way back. You don't need a lot there. Like, I'm going to turn this down by like another couple dB just so it exists. Don't do that. You get the idea. Just having that as a part of the structure of your hook is going to separate the song a little bit more, right? Where you have some separation now between these, like this moment that we're calling the hook, and when you go back into the more of the vulnerable structure in the verse, it's going to feel a little bit more distinct. You're going to get a little bit more out of it. It's going to be way more dynamic. It's going to be, way more engaging to listen to. Let me skip forward into this last part here.
I'll catch you when you fall apart.
Let it up. Back in.
Pull the knives from your back.
Let off maybe for a sec. Like, follow your dynamics. Let off. Creating that push and pull, those ups and downs, a little bit more of the journey there. Mahoney, welcome in. In order to fill out your mids just a little bit more as well. Last thing I'll say, if you want to fill out the mids a little bit more, which I would encourage you to, because the piano is pretty transient, it's pretty bright, it's pretty thin. And then also that Rhodes in the background, or 200A, whatever it might be, that kind of tine in the background, that's also very thin, very filtered out. So you're not getting any depth out of it. The guitars add some cool effects in the background. We're not getting any body out of this mix. So definitely don't high pass too high on that Rhodes. Get a little bit more life back in that Rhodes, especially in the low mids. So high pass, if you're going to high pass at all, high pass at like 70 or 80 hertz on the Rhodes, and maybe no higher than that. And if it's too boomy, it's too muddy, it's too low end heavy, then go between 100 and 400 hertz, and do a soft bell curve, like a really broad bell curve between 100 and 400 hertz. Pull a little bit of that energy down, and you'll take out some of the heaviness. I use Rhodes all the time. We have a joke with a couple of our artists in here. I think Rhodes belongs in every single song. I love Rhodes. I would love to get one in here someday when they're not like $3,000. Which is going to be forever. But anyways, that's a side note. I think the Rhodes sounds awesome, but I wanted to have a little bit more weight in the mix because you don't have a bass currently, and I want to bring in some more of those mids and low mids. So if it's too boomy when you do that and you're high passing at 70 or something like that, and it still feels like it's too much, suppress a little bit in the EQ, don't carve out. You know what I mean? Like, control that low end, reduce its impact in the mix. Don't necessarily cut out everything below 300 hertz, because then you're going to end up with this telephone filter kind of an EQ curve on there that's just not going to give you any energy in the mix. So many of like the fundamental like heavy frequencies of that instrument have just been sliced out. So you don't get any of that energy in there. So I would love to hear a little bit more life under that Rhodes, and then maybe keep the piano thinner if you want to, or just a little bit brighter, a little bit more controlled, and then come underneath that with the bass. And the bass, like, you'll have piano and guitar up here. You'll have some Rhodes, kind of here in the middle, and a bass underneath it to tie it all together. That will solidify the song, make it really consistent. It'll make it really impactful to listen to. Y'all show some love, man. Show some love, show some love. Westfall's in the building. What's up, Westfall? I hope you're doing beautifully today. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Matador, I think you're awesome. And I think you're very cool. I think you're very, very cool. And I think your wife should think you're very, very cool as well. I think you're doing an awesome thing, man. I love the style. I love the energy of it. To me, I'm obsessed with the 80s. I love the 80s. And to me, this is a great representation of a lot of that like classic rock movement there in the 80s, even into the early 90s, but a lot of that like mid 80s classic rock. And I think you're doing a fantastic job, man. So keep it up, man. Keep doing what you're doing. A little fine tuning on the production side. I think you're going to be in a great spot. Give it up for Matador. Fantastic, fantastic. Let's keep it rolling. Let me get this updated real quick. We got Daniel in the building. Gonna work on those harmonies. Westfall, I can't wait. I can't wait. You got a charge board. That was awesome. I appreciate it. I mean, that's up to y'all. That's up to y'all. Y'all can do whatever you want, man. I appreciate that so much. That's why we do these long form consultations. That's why we spend our time on it. We try to pour as much into it as possible and give y'all some great value. So y'all, that's completely up to you. That's completely up to you. But I appreciate it, man. We want to start in a place that's somewhat accessible for people, but at the same time, try to offer as much value as possible. So if y'all enjoy that value, I really appreciate the support. I appreciate y'all's generosity in general. Y'all are amazing. Dude Head, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that as well. Let's get into it. We got Daniel in the building. Let's keep it rolling. If you would like to submit your music, you can go to the link in my bio, read through and follow all the details there, and you'll see everything that you need. Let's dive in. I should be on for like I'm willing to. It just depends on kind of who comes in. The algorithm on TikTok, to be honest, has been really, really slow today. So do me a huge favor. Make sure you're tapping the screen. Help it out just a little bit. Tap the screen. Share out the live with a few people. And we'll keep it rolling here. Also, don't forget your heart me. It does really help out. But if you want to submit all of those details, like we were just talking through, these are 20 to 30 minutes long. They're detailed. They're really, really nuanced. We're going to dive into the depths of your music from mix to production elements, sound design choices, lyric and song formatting, so on and so on. If you want to submit, everything's at the link in my bio. You can go as low or as high as you want to. As far as like the submission spot, it starts in a certain place. But if you want to go faster or send more, you can. That's up to you. This is a newer track from Daniel in the building. Let's go. This is Outlaw by Daniel Kearney. Let's get into it. Super early stages on this, looking for just ideas on direction. I have my own idea on where I want to go, so any input would be appreciated and helpful. Let's get into it. Shout out to Matt one more time. Matador, appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for tapping in today. I really appreciate the love. Let's keep it rolling, y'all.
As an outlaw, we moved around. I left my keys in the hotel before I moved town. I lived in the city where the rich men walk the blind.
Nice.
Got myself a new name.
Sarn, welcome in.
Just so
Charlene, welcome in as well. Appreciate you being here. Ridgebound, welcome to the live.
Whoa. Let me know where we're gonna run to, where we're gonna go. Whoa, let me know where we're gonna run.
Love the chromatic walk down.
Where we're gonna go.
Freddie, welcome in.
With the weight by my side, feels like everybody here just wants to see me die. Got myself a real job. Now I'm living.
Bones of this are awesome, man.
life.
Bones of this are awesome. Let's go.
I need something to hold on to before I lose my mind. Oh, let me know where we're gonna run to, where we're gonna go.
Yeah, this is an early demo. Super, super early demo.
Oh, let me know where we're gonna run to, where we're gonna go.
like a, actually, you know what this needs? It's right behind me. It needs one of those. It needs one of those little guys back there. We need a resonant acoustic guitar with a slide. Ooh, come on. Philip, it's good to see you. Philip, good to see you. Welcome in, welcome in. We need a resonant guitar slide. You know, just doing some little movements in there. God, be sick. I need to restring that thing, speaking of. Yo, show some love. I need to fix it up a little bit. Show some love, show some love, show some love. We got the family in here. Daniel Kearney right here in the chat. You have a slide? Drop it in there. For God's sake, drop it in there. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Love the structure of this. The thing that I'm looking at, like the reason why that kind of popped in my mind too, is I want a little bit of a breakup between these like doubled hooks on the outro. It gets, because these the production structure is so simplistic, right? It's so raw, so, you know, really, really tied together that it can become overly repetitive because there's not a lot of elements to kind of pull you out of that structure. So having an interlude, even for literally just 4 measures, like it could literally just be a quick little top line and a turnaround right there, fall right back into the it goes straight back into the melody again, and then drop back into it. I think a slide would be beautiful. Just like one of these. I mean, literally just a steel slide on this little guy. Hold on. I just got this not that long ago, but it needs to be fixed up. This thing is gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. What's up, Tep? I love this thing so much. This thing is, wait, what are you scared of? This thing is so killer. I love this thing so much. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. But I need to clean it up. Get you any acoustic works, any guitar work, even like an electric guitar obviously would work. But get you one of these on there. Get you one of these on there, and it'll do the trick. But I think to me an acoustic with a slide would just be chef's kiss. I just think that would be absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's get back into the song. Let's dive into it. Absolutely, Ridge. If you want to submit, if anyone wants to submit, go to the link in my bio. All the details are there. You can move forward if you want to. You can go faster if you want to. All those details are there. It makes it really easy. The line is there as well if you want to kind of see where things are at. But let's keep it rolling. Let me refresh this and make sure that this is where it's supposed to be. Beautiful. Okay, let's run it. And this is, wait, where did it go? Where did it go? Yeah, slide in there would be beautiful. Just break up some of the repetition on the background there. Where did the song go? Here we go. All right, let's run it. Oh, yeah, no, he's like, no, not me. Never, ever. Okay. The other thing, what control do you have over percussion? My intuition says, and this is just, you know, it's just my ear and what I'm looking for based on the strumming pattern, based on the boom, 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 based on that movement right there. I would love brushes on like a thick snare. I got a 8.5 Mapex over here that I love, like a big, deep snare, and brushes on it. Just a little bit softer, a little bit more mellow, a little more vintage sounding, less slicey, less punchy, less big. Like right now, like the kick is very transient. I would love like felt head kick, you know what I mean? Like felt head kick, brushes on the snare and toms, like that to me, just same patterns maybe a lot of the time, but like slightly restructuring the sound itself. Even if you're using VSTs, maybe there's a VST that has more of a brush sound, you can kind of finagle and figure out how that would work. But I think having a softer tone, less sharp, less transient, less direct, and then also like I said, on the kick side, maybe not like, you know, direct or plastic, you know, batter, maybe having like a felt head could be nice. I have one over here somewhere, but a felt head would be nice. Having a little bit of a shift in the sound design there, I do think would be really beneficial to it feeling, the whole song feeling softer, warmer, even though it's early stages, but like softer, warmer. This is stuff you can't necessarily EQ out or filter out because it's the source that has that sharpness in it. So I think having a little bit of that would be nice. And then adding the steel, man, adding a guitar with a slide, killer. Because right now I'm hearing the kind of digital nature of it. That boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. And I want to kind of hear that. I want some of that like natural, really like, just really subdued. It's going to let your vocal and those top line like slides and stuff do all the work. That I want like in my mind, again, this is not my song, but in my mind, I want the acoustic guitars to exist as a foundation. I want the bass to exist as a foundation. I want the drums to be there as a foundation, as just a grounding element to the song. All of that, I want to just kind of exist down here as this like blank canvas that like lead guitar lines and a fiddle maybe, you never know, a lead guitar line with a slide, the lead vocals and the way that you're structuring that. I think if you can kind of give those a great stage to stand on, but nothing that's like distracting at all. Subdued, bass, double-tracked acoustic guitars, nice and easy in the background, softer drums, less transient, a little bit, less direct. I think that you'll really be able to shine vocally with your layers as you build those out, which I hope you get some layers in there. Some doubles, some third note, fifth note harmonies would be beautiful in a song like this. Having some of those extra layers in there, I think will really, really help. But I want, for me, this song is all about foundation, beautiful lead melodic elements. That to me is like, that's what this is all about. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Growing up as an outlaw,
and I know a lot of this is super dry too.
I left my keys in the hotel before I moved out. I lived in the city where the rich men walk the blind. Got myself a new name just so I can smile. Oh, let me know where we're gonna run to, where we're gonna go.
Yes, that's kind of my goal with the program too. Like I was saying, you can hear the digital nature of it. That's what I'm talking about. And I know these are early, so I'm saying things. I don't want you to feel like they're like these huge things you have to tackle. I think it's just over time as you solidify the production structure, it's going to make it feel super inviting to listen to. If you can find like, I'm going to get out of expand here for a second, I'll spend 2 seconds in here. I don't know if I have one in here. A good, I appreciate it, man. Let me see. Studio. Let me see. What do we got? Do we have a brush kit here? Yeah, Tep knows. Let me see. I just want to, for me, it helps to just hear what we're talking about. So maybe I can just do warm drums. Let's see. Let me see what I can find here really quick. Just because I just feel like it's helpful to hear what we're talking about and just be, oh yeah, that does match up, or doesn't match up with kind of the. Let me see. See if it has any other samples in here. No. Let's go. No, none of these have it. Okay, I'm gonna try really quick. On Spitfire. I'm gonna try on Labs really quick because Labs has some that are at least they're a little bit softer. 100%. Yeah, there's options. There's plenty of options. Meowing, welcome in. Max, I appreciate you joining the stream. Welcome in. I hope y'all are doing amazing. Let's see. Drums. Let's see. That's still pretty sharp. But let me try the vintage ones and see if these are any better. No, too much. Let's try Animal. This is closer to what you have. Let's go back here. This is Labs. 75. Let me see. going to bring this down. A little bit of gated. Hey, no worries, no worries. I'm not worried about it. You're going to get it. So here's what I'm going to...
Growing up as an outlaw, we moved around. I left my keys in the hotel.
What I want you to listen for, to me, what's one of the most important... I'm not going to play the kick. And again, this can be done way better in something that sounds, a little bit more where you need it to be. What I'm listening for is these ghost notes underneath. Those little filler ghost notes underneath. That to me is part of what makes it set up, especially quantized. It's going to be a little more edge.
Before I moved out, I lived in the city where the rich men walk the blind. Got myself a new name.
Those little ghosts, they give it like just a little bit extra edge, and it just makes it feel, it just makes it feel more natural, like that. That feels more like a real drum set. I'll actually be honest, this is free. If you feel like doing this drum set, these drums are free. This is it Mersk? Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. These drums are actually free through Labs. It's actually these. Let me show you. I'll switch over just for a sec so y'all can see. Hopefully it pops up. There we go. Yeah, it's literally these. These are from Labs. This is Spitfire Audio. So if you feel like tinkering with these, there's a couple. There's a couple good options, right? So these are like the main drums, and there's two vintage kits on here. Spitfire Audio. Spitfire Audio. Yeah, this is Labs. Labs has like gigs and gigs and gigs. As a drummer, if you happen to have a whatever snare drum from whatever mic record, playing it softly with your feet, 100%. Just put a 57 on there and just easy. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff you can do with like palm hits and stuff like that, or even like finger hits that are really simple. I'll have to double check because I did have Aux change it the other day. So I'll double check here in a second. But yeah, I do think I'll switch back. I do think that having a change in percussion will definitely help with a lot of the dynamics here. And again, I know a lot of this is raw, so I'm not too worried about it.
Where we're gonna go.
Exactly. Let me double check over here while we go. And even here right now we're here. I think it would be nice to switch or doing that on the snare. And so it feels a little bit more dry, a little bit more like nuance in between, as opposed to where you're getting a lot of like the heaviness off the transients of the kick and the snare and the sharpness of the hat. I think that and switching to like the eighth note in there, I do think would make this feel a little bit more natural, right? As opposed to kind of everything hitting pretty strong right down the middle. Vocally, I really like what you're doing. I really like what you're doing. So this is also going to come down to you just layering appropriately, getting harmonies in there, third and fifth note harmonies, maybe doubles of your vocal on the hook. Definitely, I would have some double vocals of you on the hook to give it just a little bit of energy there, and you should be good to go. Yeah, I did talk to Aux. They did say that they switched it. I just haven't been able to get over there. But yeah, I'll check it here in a second, and maybe Libby can help as well. Many drum VSCs have samples for the foot hit on the hat. You can do those with low velocity. 100%, Ark. 100%. You're correct. I don't mind the sound. I mean, I'm talking from a real percussion standpoint, or one that emulates that better, but like I don't mind the sound of these drums. I mean, I actually really like it. It has this kind of, Jake Reed dead drums kind of a feel to it. I really don't mind it at all. It's a good sounding drum. I'm just listening to what's in the rest of the production structure and seeing if there's any way we can fine tune it to feel a little bit more natural and feel a little bit more in line with what you're going for. As far as production goes, for me, I would love to. I mean, bass sounds great, acoustic guitars sound great. I would love to get a lead element with like a slide, like you said, you have a slide. I would definitely get a slide on there as interludes between different lines, maybe to break up. Now we got rid of the button entirely. Let me check really quick. Well, I think you can only do it for yours. So, because that's what he changed. So you can't. No, you're totally good. I want to make sure we figure it out. Again, like I said, I'm still getting used to the platform. I'm still trying to fine tune some things, and I'm working with the developer too, so they can fine tune some things as we go as well. So I don't think you'll see it unless you have a song there. I think because you have to first submit where you want to, and then you can kind of go from there. And I'm asking him about a couple other things too. Daniel, welcome in. So you should, yeah, it should. So let's see. Nicole, I see you in there. So yeah, because like I can't add to it. So if you, yeah, I see your name on there. Tell me what happens if you tap on your song in the queue. Let me know if you see anything there, and I'll play this a little bit farther.
Know where we're gonna run to, where we're gonna go. Oh, let me know where we're gonna run to.
And there's no in the queue
Where
space.
we're gonna
There's no skip. Yeah, I think if you don't have a song on there, I don't think it'll show anything, because I think that was the change that they made. So it would only be if Nicole could do it, not because like if either myself or Libby goes to it, we don't have a song there, so it wouldn't show us a skip button. Let me see. Let me go back over here. Ridgebound, I got you. Nicole, I have you on there. Sebastian, I got you. And then, of course, Arg, I got you as well. Yeah, we can do it the old way. So yeah, if you want to do it the old way, yeah, I don't have those links up on there right now because I don't want it to get confusing. But actually, I can maybe, I don't know, maybe Libby can help with that. I'm trying to see if we can just, yeah, you can just send it the other way. Dude, of course. Has anyone, really quick, because I think a couple other people did skip forward. Has anyone in here skipped forward and added to yours? Or have you only done, just so I can get a little bit of insight on what's going on? That's correct. I'm trying to figure out this tech issue. Yeah, I got you, Rich. You're on there. Yeah. But has anyone added to theirs is what I'm asking. Has anyone added to their submission? That's what I'm curious about. Let me get to the end. Exactly. Let me get to the end of this. I think that's most of it. Okay, Arg, I appreciate it.
Let me know where we're gonna run to, where we're gonna go. Oh, let me know where we're gonna run to.
Yeah, I definitely want, if you haven't already or don't have the capacity already, I definitely want a third note harmony there. Like on the outside.
Let me know.
Like I definitely want some of those extra layers on their double tracked as well, not just the double. And of course, I know it's early demo, but I definitely want to make sure that there's options in there for you to balance out the stereo field in the mix as well for the vocals. That's one of the other elements in there.
Where we're gonna run to, where we're gonna go.
And then close. All right, beautiful. Man, y'all, sorry for the distractions in the middle there, Daniel. Y'all show some love to Daniel Kearney. I love what you do, man. Seriously, I think your songwriting is great. These are beautiful melodies. They're very catchy, great repetition, great structure across the board. I'm not worried about that at all. I think you're doing a fantastic job. So don't worry about the structure. Don't worry about a lot of like kind of the core instrumentation and structure that's there and progressions and stuff like that. It's really gonna come down to how you're able to build like layering and dynamics to make the song not feel too repetitive. Not only in like real repetition of like this song, the same thing happening multiple times, but also the exact same like sound design throughout the course of it, right? The natural like dynamics of the song of like adding another lead element for melodics with like a guitar or a slide or whatever it may be, or fiddle, and or adding harmonies maybe only to the hook or just parts of the verse, building out maybe like another lead line that helps support the drums a little bit more, stuff like that. But you also show some love to Daniel. I appreciate what you do, man. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for the submission as well. Okay, so let me see. So I've got for some. I'm excited, man. I mean, for that as a demo, I think you're doing an absolutely fantastic job. Okay, so Arg, I got you. I'm just double checking a few things before I dive into the next ones here. Let me open up the link tree really quick. Ox Guy's profile. Here's what I'm gonna do. I just turned on the other link, so the link tree's updated. So I'm gonna move this here. Okay, I update. So I turned back on the original submission link, Nicole. For anyone who's in here, since I'm gonna have to get on him on that. That's super annoying. I updated it so the other link is up there again, and I changed the name of it to say skip forward. So if you would like to move forward in the line and go faster, just do me a huge favor and go to the other link that says skip forward. And if you scroll down, just skip past the steps, but scroll down, you'll see all the other platforms: Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, card, whatever, all that different stuff. That way you can go faster and make it a little bit easier. But yeah, all of those platforms are open now, so it can make it a little bit easier for y'all to get on there. So let me know, Nicole, if you want a second, because I can pull up your song next, if that's the case, because I know you're wanting to move forward. So I want to keep all of that. Let me see. But yeah, everything should be updated. So yeah, if y'all would like to skip and it's not working, it's not letting you add to it, which is super annoying. I'll figure that out. That's pretty frustrating. I'll open up that other line. That way you can open up there. I'm emailing them right now too as I wait for just a moment here. And I might try some other platform too. I'll just stay with us a little bit. George, welcome in. Okay, give me just one moment, y'all. Give me just one moment. Shout out to Daniel though. Sorry again for the delays right there. Shout out to Daniel. Amazing. And then I'll update everything here in just a second. Yeah, the hard thing is just staying organized because now I have 2 lanes of submissions, skips, orders of where those, like when someone comes on this other platform, where in the order of like over here that sits. Like this is where it's getting complex. So I'll figure it out. Okay, I got you. Let me update this real quick. I can't do that. There's the submissions are flowing through it with the I can't do that right now. That's too unorganized. Okay, 2 seconds, y'all. 2 seconds. Okay, let me get this updated real quick. What I'll probably do, got you. And then let me double check over here really quick. Just make sure I have everything organized and everyone in the right spot. And so that I'm also clearing the right names as well. Let's see. Anatole, but I don't know if it moved up. The line looks the same, but it could be the amount. Okay, yeah. So Nicole, I have you from there, so I'll do it manually. So now, boom. Okay. Boom. Beautiful. That worked. I could do that manually. So perfect. So I updated yours for you. All right. We've got Nicole in the building. Let's keep it moving. I'm going to close the line in a minute as well, y'all. In fact, I just don't want to get a wave of submissions, especially when I'm figuring some stuff out. Hopefully they can get that worked out. Okay. This is Mud in the Water, probably. On the track is let me double check a few things here. Let me see. Got you. I didn't know. I didn't know if it was maybe in another language or something. But it's Mud in the Water by Nicole Gray. 6 months in working through. I appreciate y'all so much. Yeah. No, they sent it through the website, and I just updated it over here. Vocals are not tuned, so give some slack. Sounds good. 6 months in working through kids' nap times, and this is where we are. The vocals were practice takes to learn more about vocal production, but it gives context to the direction of the song. The second verse and chorus are also written but not recorded yet. It is clearly not mixed yet either. Okay, let's get it. Yeah, they went over to the website and updated for there. So just quick reminder, y'all, if you want to, you can still do like the initial submission through there. But if you do submit, or if you want to skip, if you want to go faster, what's up, Willie? If you do want to skip, you want to go faster, you want to get heard sooner, do it through the link in my bio that says skip or whatever I changed it to. Skip forward. It says skip forward. Just go to that link and update through the platforms at the bottom right there. And then once I get those, I'll update it on aux, so the aux is still accurate. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. This is Mud in the Water by Nicole Gray. Talk to me really quick too. So I know a little bit about the vocal production, but talk to me about the instrumental. Talk to me about the production there and kind of what your role in is as well. This is obviously clearly not mixed. Thank you, Brown. I appreciate it. Sorry, this is our 4th day trying a new platform, and there's been some things that have been very efficient and very, very fun, of keeping things really organized and keeping the line really engaged. But there's also been some really annoying technical issues. So we might kind of. We might jump around. I'm not beholden to it. I just got to do what makes it as easy as possible for y'all, what's as organized as possible for y'all. So we might try some stuff. But I'll keep trying to update with the developer and see what happens. But worst case scenario, I'll switch to another one. This is Mud in the Water, Nicole Gray. Let's run it. They send it at the link in my bio. Okay, cool. Definitely more space, more reflection. I've closed the line on aux, y'all, just so you know. It's still there. You can still change the order, add to it there, or add to it through the other link that I posted. So just let me know if you're going to do that, so I can keep things updated for those of you who want to go faster. But just to kind of keep that in mind there, I've closed it on aux for now. Yeah, it's completely raw. It's completely, I mean, they've thrown some effects on there, but it's completely unmixed. All right. So we're just waiting to see if there's anything else that was going to kick in. Y'all show some love. Show some love. That is Nicole right here in the chat. So show some support to Nicole Gray Music right here in the chat. And there's another chorus after, but not recorded yet. Okay, sounds good. I'm excited to dive into this and get into some of the details of the structure here. Juno, welcome in. I appreciate the follow. Thanks for tapping in. All right, yeah, let's dive into some of the structural things. And then some of the ambiance. There's some settings, I think, within certain plugins that you're using that we can target a little bit more as well. Already a huge jump forward, and like we talked about, like wet versus dry, right? If wanting an ethereal sound, wanting a lot of reflection and openness and ambiance, and then having really dry signal. And so in this case, I love that we now have a little bit more of an open sound. Now it's about like positioning of those certain elements, how those actually operate in the stereo field and kind of where they're actually hitting. So let's get into some of that really quick. Let me double check something real quick over here. Ba-da-dum-dum. Okay, I see. I just heard from aux. They said they're still testing the code. So they're going to try to launch that feature tonight. I just went a little bit earlier. I think it's just a timing thing. They said they're testing that code and that should be back tonight because they had to recode that app to add in that feature. So hopefully that will be, worked out and will be seamless really, really soon. If it is, that'll be obviously really helpful and everything will be pretty seamless. But anyways, so just heard back from that. So hopefully that works out and I'm still open. We'll still test some things. So, okay, let's keep it rolling. This is Nicole Gray in the chat. Let's dive in. Jenna, good to see you. Hope you're doing amazing. All right. I'm doing okay. Been kind of an interesting day, to be honest. Okay, so one quick note. I'm going to make an assumption that it kind of depends on what you're doing, and it kind of depends on how you're structuring some things. One of the things that I'm hearing now is I think most of these effects are in mono. Let me know really quick what you're using to record, what DAW you're using to record. I think almost all, if not all, of the elements in this mix are kind of in mono. So they're panned really directly, right? They're kind of all Logic Pro. Okay, that's what I want you to double check. So there's different ways to add effects. There's different ways to add them. You can add them on the track themselves, and you can add them in stereo. You can add them on a bus and fill them in with stereo and just kind of feed that vocal into that to kind of open it up a little bit. I think there's a couple different ways depending on the effect that you're going for and how you're wanting it to sound. Really quick. So then here's what I want to do. Just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Right now, what I'm hearing, that's stereo. So let's move that there. Is most of these effects kind of hitting in, and I'll show you over here. Boom, 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 boom. So we're going to go here and we're going to do it will only do that in stereo. So we're going to just do the deverb and mono. There we go. There we go. Okay, let me bring down the mix just a little bit. Okay, here's kind of what I'm listening for, right? I'll show you kind of two different things, and what we're looking at is the difference between stereo ambiance and mono ambiance, right? When you're setting your vocal, whether this is on the okay, let me mute this, Jesus. It's gonna drive me nuts. Whether you are adding this to instruments or adding it to your vocal, there's different ways to go about this. In Logic, it might look a little bit differently, but largely the tool is the same. If you have a mono vocal, right, when you're recording your microphone into your DAW, it's a mono signal, right? It's a singular signal. There's no stereo information. So you're recording a mono signal into a mono track, right? If I add a mono reverb onto that, directly onto the track, all of even the reflection is going to be kind of right here. It's going to hit you right in the middle. So if I add this reverb on, you can see, even though this is a big sounding reverb, like it's big and it's reflective, but it still sounds kind of small, right? It's still kind of narrow. It's kind of coming at you from right here. And that's because this reverb is in mono, as well as the vocal, because it's directly on that vocal track. Now you could add, technically speaking, you could add a stereo reverb on there, and it might split the track for you and give you a stereo, and you can work that way. Typically, the way that I like to do this for a bit more control over filtering, over effects and chaining and stuff like that, is having it on an aux. So what you'll see down here, you see this green track, second from the bottom, right? This green track right here, this is my aux, right? This is a bus over here. On this track, I have my reverb, right? This is where my reverb is. And I have it at 100, you can see right here on the mix, it's at 100%. So this is not even on my vocal track. You can do that technically, but I'm going to show you the difference. This is on an aux right here. It's on a bus right here. And I have the reverb. I just have it on stock settings right now. I'm not going to even touch it. It's at 4 seconds, whatever. It's a nice vintage hall reverb. And I have the mix at 100%. So the plugin is at 100. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sends, right? And it's going to be the same on Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton, FL Studio, anything, Reaper, Reason, whatever. Studio One. You're going to go to your sends, and you're going to send your vocal to that track, right? I'm going to send a signal over there. So that's what I've done here. I'm going to bring this up right here. So the sends can go anywhere, right? So the sends is just routing, right? So technically, I hope this pops up here. I can go here, right? So I'm going to my sends. I can send to my outputs right here. I can send to buses over here. I can send to like my effects auxes down here, my groups. I can send it to like a new track. So the send is just a part of your routing sequence, right? Your routing algorithm right there. But buses and auxes are essentially the same thing. So down here, I have aux. This green track is aux 1. And on that aux or bus, you have the reverb on there, your effects, a delay, a doubler, or whatever. I'll have it down there. And then I go to my sends here. And then what I do from the send is then I send it to, in this case, it's aux 1. So I'm going to send it. Ooh, there it is. I send it to aux 1. See how massive that sounds? I now have a stereo bus, a stereo aux with a stereo effect on it. And I send my vocal to that stereo bus. And you can hear the difference. Like this is crazy. This is like announcer voice in a stadium. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is nuts sounding, right? The difference between that and this, same effect, a huge 4.5 second hall reverb. This is the same effect. It's a different reverb, but the same 4.5 second, large scale, diffused hall reverb. The difference between that and this, it's louder, obviously. It's louder, but even quieter, even if I pull it way down here. And I keep it a little, but you hear how it reflects around you. It sets your vocal, that mono vocal, into space, right? So now that vocal is experiencing all of this reflection, it kind of hits you from everywhere. This is going to help you out a lot. Now, let me also give you kind of another quick note that if you have stereo instruments, you just do it right on the track. That makes it, or if there's, for whatever reason, a stereo vocal file, like you print something like FL Studio is interesting about this. I think Logic sometimes it's interesting about this, where there's not even necessarily like a split of like mono and stereo, just whatever you add to that, whatever you add to the track, I gotta turn this off, Jesus. Turn that off. Whatever you add to the track, it just kind of adds that thing, and it's like mono or stereo, just depending on the signal that runs into it. In Pro Tools, it's really easy. In Pro Tools, it's like my mono tracks have a singular meter, my stereo tracks have a dual meter, my 5.1 tracks have 5, or 6 meters or whatever. It just makes it really easy to see all of it. That might be different in Logic, but at the end of the day, if you end up with a stereo file, even if it's a vocal channel, but you end up with a stereo file, you can just add a stereo reverb to it and it'll give that. Just as an example, right? I have this piano on here. Let me pull up my piano. Right? This is super. Oh, those are drums. Jesus, what are those doing there? There we go. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, I love it. But they're a little bit dry, but it's a stereo piano. So if I just add, and you can't see it here, but this is the piano. This is the reverb right here that's on that piano. It's another Valhalla reverb. It's a little bit shorter. It's about 3 seconds long. I have it at like, let's bring it up to like 20%. And it's bypass, bring it on. All that environment there now. Now there's all this space around it because it's a stereo signal with a stereo reverb on top. So that's what I want you to focus on, right? To me, this is like your next step, right? We're talking about a lot of what's a couple of different things that we can do, right? To build this out a little bit more. That's what I'm looking for. So now I'm going to hop back to your track, right? I'm going to hop back here.
Let's take it down and I'm listening for it. There's more in the water.
There's some little stereo stuff in there. I'm pretty sure I can hear, I can hear some movement on like the high, like D50 Fantasia style stuff, like that really high shimmery synth at the top. I think has some stereo information to it, but there's a couple other elements in here that they have more of like that wet signal, but they might not be panned to the left and right. They might, they might be in mono on a mono signal. So just make sure that you're getting that you've opened this up left and right and you're getting stereo signal. And when you have a stereo signal like that, depending on where you want it positioned, the reason why sometimes I don't love putting reverbs always on the track, it really depends on the track. There's many times that I just do. Like on most instruments, I just add it to the track. Like on my pianos, I have the reverb right there on the track. But sometimes if you're panning things really dramatically, it can be nice to have them sent to a special reverb, like to its own bus, right? To its own aux. With a stereo reverb still. So the signal passes over here, but the reverb opens up a little bit more in stereo. That can be really helpful for maintaining that stereo image, because if I have a stereo track, right, like I have a stereo piano like I have here, I have a stereo piano with a stereo reverb on it, but then since the reverb is on the track, I take my whole piano and I pan it over here. Hear what happened to the reverb? All that reverb, all of those plugins were sent to one place, and I panned that whole place over to the right. So now the reverb is way over here. And that can be nice in some instances, but I lose all that reflection of going left and right. And now the piano's everywhere again. Now, if I bypass that, we're spending a lot of time here, but hopefully it's helpful. I'm now going to send this piano to the reverb again. So we're going to go to the track. I'm going to send it to aux 1, right? So now this is not on the piano track. It's on the bus. Now we get this huge reverb again. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to keep the reverb left and right. I'm going to pan the reverb. I'm going to pan the piano over here. I'm going to go back over here. You hear how the piano is on the left. Piano's on the right. I can't think. But the reverb is everywhere. So I have this bias of signal. Direct signal is over here, right? It's my right. Direct signal is over here, but how that reflection bounces off the room that I'm emulating, the hall that I'm emulating, is everywhere. That would be right. Like if I was in a stadium, right, and the live mixing engineer panned all of the lead electric guitars over to the right side, they would all come out of the right speaker, but the reflection in the room would create all of this ambiance. That's what we're emulating here, right? Where now my signal is all the way over here, but as I bring in this reverb, the reflection fills the room. I mean, it sounds beautiful, right? So that's what I'm looking for. this is, I know I'm covering a lot here, but this is a lot of the things that I want you to kind of tap into, because I think this is going to give you a lot of, I was like, oh, that's a beautiful melody. Hold on one second. Let me record that real quick. But that's kind of what I want you to look at, and what I want you to dig into a little bit more is like, now your positioning is actually good. Like I'm hearing all these different elements that you have bouncing around in all these different spaces, and I really like it. I'm not really mad at what I'm hearing there. But they feel very isolated there. You know what I mean? Like they're very like stuck in these different mediums and these different like verticals here. And I still want them to fill. I still want them to create the ambiance and the reflection that we're talking about. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Let me move a little bit farther forward. Also, keep in mind your main elements, your like core elements. You probably still want your main elements in mono down the middle, or at least stereo, right? So like you might have a stereo bass. If you have a stereo bass, you just want to pan it all the way to the outside, right? Like you just want it to be a full stereo image of that bass. In the same way that like this is, oops, no, sorry, I forgot my piano's like all on one side. Let me bring it back, and we're back. In the same way that this is a stereo piano, if I have this stereo piano like in the middle, it'll sound mono. So since it's a stereo piano, it's all the way on the right side and all the way on the left side. So if you have control over that, I would make sure you're doing that as well. Drums and bass, I would like typically keep right there. Maybe even like piano and Rhodes or something like that. You'd want those in the middle so that all of these like main elements, like the core elements that are right there. No, if it's a stereo, you don't need to double it unless it's a stylistic thing you want to do. If it's a stereo, then it'll have two signals. It'll have both signals. One will be panned to the right, one will be panned to the left. You probably just need to like click on the, again, I don't know how it looks in Logic. It's been years since I've used Logic, but you'll just have to see where the panning is. And if it's like two tracks that are pointed straight up like this, and it's a stereo track, sometimes it'll have like two knobs right there. Like for instance, real quick, I'll just switch over here just for a second. Perfect. Okay, so like real quick here's my stereo track. You see how there's two? I hope it comes through. I know it's a little bit small. What might be happening is you have this. Two tracks, like this is a stereo track. See how that's right down the middle? Right? It's a cool little lo-fi sound. That's in mono, but these are my two stereo pots right here. If I push one to the left, push one to the right, now we have this. We have all of this openness right here. So they must all be mono. They're probably all mono then. So again, this is you'll have to do your due diligence and dig into Logic a little bit more. But what I would look at is when you're adding instruments, sometimes there's an option. So I know in Pro Tools, depending on the plugin, there's an option to add a mono instrument or a mono, like a multi-mono or a stereo instrument. And it'll be the same one. So I'll have like the MS-20 from Korg, mono, or MS-20 from Korg, stereo. And I can add a different one depending on how I want to process it. That might be an option for you, so double check that. That might be one of the things like, oh, I added a piano. It was a mono piano, and there's probably an option right below it that's a stereo piano or multi-mono piano or something like that. That might be what you need to look at in order to regain that stereo field again, or just go through some stuff on some stuff on YouTube too. And Logic a stereo track still has one knob, but you can change the pan from balance to stereo. Yeah, those are those little things that you'll just have to figure out, and what the language behind it looks like in Logic. Okay. All of that said, that's all. What's up, Mead? Welcome in. That's all, this background stuff here. Now let me just get to like the end of the song here, and we'll kind of bullet point it here. But that to me, this affects the entire, I know it's not tuned vocals yet and all of that stuff. So this affects kind of the entire structure of the song. So that to me is kind of the main thing I want you to look at. Yeah, we're always going in, Ridge. We're always going in. Because I like the percussion. It's quirky. It's interesting. I don't mind a lot of your sound design. I think it can be polished a little bit, like we've talked about other times. Like we can polish it, we can control it, we can try to get this a little bit more nuanced as far as some of the breakdown of it. But I think that'll be easier for you to do when you have better clarity of where things are even at in your mix, right? When things feel disjointed in the production, and it's kind of hard to like. And it's like, I don't really like know where this is. And it's hard to kind of dictate, like, should the piano be a lot louder? It sounds loud if it's just pointed, 45 degrees this way. And it's like, I hear it coming way over on the left. If I push it loud, it feels weird. You know what I mean? And so it's like sometimes like, oh, now it's stereo. Now it feels completely different. Now I need to position it differently. So that's why I'm harping on that. We spend most of the consultation talking about that, because that to me is going to determine how you add elements, how you mix elements, how you position elements. Because if all of a sudden, if in 30 minutes you open up in stereo on all of these different tracks and now everything sounds crazy, everything sounds massive and it's reflecting everywhere and everything sounds 4 dB louder, it's going to sound way, way, way different. And you might be like, oh my gosh, I need to take all this out. I need to bring this way down. I need to add in a different, instrument here, so on and so on. So that to me is like, that's why this is so vitally important, because it dictates all of your decisions going forward of like, is this piano sound big? Does it sound narrow and small? Is it positioned over here, or is it kind of hitting me from everywhere? That is largely going to determine how you mix and where you position things. So for me, it's going to be, I think that's going to be a big part of your next steps to regaining some clarity while still getting reflection and ethereal, ambiance and stuff like that. You all show some love to Nicole. Nicole, we love you. You're always in here, so supportive, so generous with your time, so generous with everything that you're doing creatively. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for coming in today, sending that in. Appreciate it more than you know. So y'all, please show some love. Let's keep it rolling. We've got Arg in the building. Arg, I appreciate you being here. Let's close it up with these last couple tracks right here. Let's close it up with the last couple tracks here. This is Arg part right here. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I already read this earlier, but we're a 7-piece Estonian pop rock band, and this is our latest release with a dear friend, Alika. We'd love to hear your thoughts about the writing, sound choices, and overall mix. Let's get it. Let me know, Arg, whoever is here in the chat. Oops, let me switch back. Whoever's here in the chat, let me know who you are and what you do in the track so I can kind of speak to you directly as well. Let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Drummers in the building. It's funny. I feel like it is the drummer almost every single time. I've been drumming since I was 4 years old. So I love getting to talk to the drummers about what they're doing. But yeah, I've been playing for, most of my life. And so it's always fun. It's always fun to get to chat. But I feel like when the band comes in, 9 times out of 10, the drummer is the one who's doing all the work to promote their stuff. All right, let's get into it. This is Arg part. Let's dive in. I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, so I'm not going to butcher it for you. But let the people know in the chat what's going on with the song. Was responsible for production side and mix notes. Beautiful. Yeah, if you want to let me know about different parts of your process and stuff, let me know.
Hoian hinge kinni, seni kun juon pinnalle.
Nice little spring reverb in the background. That's got to be a Fender spring reverb, right? Drums are super clean. Bass is nasty too. That's Alika, I'm assuming, at the top there. Good positioning on the doubles. Yeah, good clarity on the vocals too.
sä tulisit kaasa. Kuin sun vastuus on jakaa. Kohtuumme kusta palas ja meris ja kalas. Pelami paistaa. Olemme selleks
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. There are definitely some horns in the background. That is our part right here in the chat. Show some love, show some love, show some love. Let's get straight back into it. There's a lot of this that I like. I mean, Pocket is great. It's really, really clean. The actual like vocal tracking is very transparent. It's very clean. I like it a lot. Alto, tenor, and trumpet. Yeah, it sounds beautiful. The brass sounds great. In fact, I kind of want, I always kind of like this, but I kind of want more brass trading energy a little bit with the guitars. Right now, we'll talk about this, briefly as we go through it, but the guitars right now are taking up a lot of space because you don't really have a super distinct rhythm to lead guitar section. It's a double tracked rhythm guitar that is taking up all of that space. And then the brass stabs. I kind of wish, and this is different if you're performing live, it can be more challenging to do if you only have one guitarist and they're carrying all of that. That can be tough. But it would be nice to have a more subdued rhythm section here, maybe a little bit more carved out, so for some space for some other elements. And then maybe a lead line of guitar over the top, and then a bit more of that brass push and like top line with the brass, which I think sounds awesome. Like those lead lines that it's doing are great. Those big swells and stabs I think are awesome. But right now, a lot of those like palm muted double track guitars, they feel very heavy compared to a lot of the rest of the production. But honestly, this sounds really, really good. I don't even mean that as like a complaint. It's like a little bit of a stylistic thing where I want a little bit more of that brightness and that kind of transience that comes in. And I'm getting a little bit of like low mud kind of on the bottom end here. And I wish we could maybe transfer that a little bit up. And it sounds awesome though. It's a really, really cool song, cool vocal structure as well. Let's run it from the top. That is our part. Let's run it from the top. Like even there, I mean, this is a subtle lead line that comes in on the guitar. Even there on the guitar, it's like a little bit muddy in the low mids. That 300, 400 hertz range is just, it's not even boomy, right? It's still a higher lead line, but it's a little bit muddy right there. I would love to clarify that a little bit because what's happening is this very full spectrum spring reverb on there. It sounds like the reason why I was saying that is because I just sold my Fender 410 amp that had a built-in real spring reverb. And it sounds very similar to that. It's like, dude, I wonder if that's a Fender, like a Fender reverb. But it has, that great texture on it, but it's very full spectrum. So when that reverb hits over a kind of muddy guitar, you get a kind of muddy reverb, and it's doing lines over itself over and over, right? Where it keeps on dun, 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 dun. It keeps doing those lines. And so you get this kind of buildup of energy in that 300 to 500 range. And so I think we could suppress that a little bit. I think if you were able to thin that out slightly, just barely, thin it out just a little bit in those low mids right there, clarify, barely. I mean, when I say barely, I mean like we're talking like a dB and a half, 2 dB of just regaining kind of distinction, regaining a little bit of clarity in that guitar. I think that'd be fantastic. It'll also clarify the reverb, which will also clarify every line that comes after it. So I do think that could be helpful. Bass is killer. I love the bass. The bass and drums, rhythm section here. Come on, rhythm section here is sick. It sounds awesome. It sounds really cool. A guitar comes in. I love what it's doing, but I lose, drum, pocket, bass pocket, nasty. Really proud of the bass sound. You should be. I'm obsessed. I love it. It's weighty. It's got body. It's got saturation. It's breaking up just a little bit. It's crispy at the top. That 5K range. It's got a nice little notch to it. It feels nice and snappy. I love it a lot. The bass and drums, I think you crushed. And then, the guitar, drums, the guitarist comes in, and as soon as the guitar guitar comes in, immediately we lose separation of things in the mix, right? Because the big, massive reverb on it on both sides, double tracked, big, massive reverb on it, and that push in the low mids. And so I immediately kind of like lose what the snare is doing. I kind of immediately lose kind of distinction in the vocals for a moment, and then it leaves. So that tells me that there is a little bit of inflation right there that is holding us back from having maybe a bit better separation in the mix. A little bit better clarity right there. So, to be honest with you, just speaking from the guitar point, even maybe a little less overdrive, a little bit cleaner guitar, a little bit more chimey. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more chimey, still overdriven, still saturated, but even just a little bit less overdrive could clarify those lines a little bit too. Maybe a little bit less reverb. Because I like the sound, I like what it does, and I like when it does it. It's just a little overblown in the mix. And that, like I said, remove some separation. Cool vocal. Ivy, welcome in. Stack positioning, fantastic. Is it just one guitar? Because I think what I'm realizing, I'm not trying to harp on the guitar. It's just one of the few things that I think could use a little bit of work. So I'm not trying to nail that down. I think it is just one guitar, right? Because I hear lead lines on verses, rhythm lines on hook. It just trades, but similar tone. So I'm assuming it's just one guitar, one line, but it's just trading parts. So like the verse is doing lead lines and like those high harmonics, and then on the chorus it does like a heavier rhythm section. Double track. Yeah, double track, because you get the full left and right, but it's only but you only have one guitar line though, right? Am I correct in hearing that? Where it's like it's double track, so it's left side, right side, and then panned out. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So it's like on the verses, you only have, melodics, and then on the hook, you only have rhythm sections. So when we go into the hook and the second hook, I think maybe second or third hook later on, you don't have any real strong lead line outside of vocals. You only have rhythm section, and then on the verses, you're missing the mids. I don't mind it on the verses. The verses should empty out a little bit, so I think those sound great. Y'all are awesome, though. I mean, yeah, seriously, y'all are doing some really, really good stuff with your music. And I also think that you're doing something right on that. I mean, I haven't seen your page. I haven't really seen anything else. But you're getting good streams on your songs. You're getting great movement for what you're doing. So I also, we left the lead support to the horns in the second chorus and guitar. Yeah, exactly. So that's where I want that energy trading a little bit. More of the lead with the horns and less weight on the guitar. So the bass really sits, chunky underneath it. Still a strong guitar, just not as heavy. Here's what's great to me. So little of this matters, even though it matters to me as a musician, it matters to me as a producer and engineer, but so little of this is all, here's what I'm trying to say. This is all so secondary to a good song that in this language relates to people, it reaches people, and it makes sense to them. They gravitate to the sound, to the energy, to the shows. Yeah, live shows, exactly, where people latch onto it. You have great monthlies, you have great streams, you have great translation to your music where people are gravitating towards it. So I always want to keep that in mind, because you can always do something better. You can always reposition something. If something is working, grab onto it. Of course, grow and evolve your sound and evolve the quality of your music. But what I love about this is y'all have done such a good job on the other things that matter the most. Great melody, great feature in this instance, but great melody, great song, a connective lyrics that people relate to and love and enjoy. Good shows where people can come out and watch you do what you're doing. Thank you for the follow. You're doing the things that matter more than anything really, really well. I think there's a lot of people out there. So I'm looking at the Spotify now. It's why I want to mention this, is because there's a lot of people out there that write bad songs that really don't worry about their structure at all. They don't worry about relating to people. They don't really have connected, messaging for their music. They don't have the charisma or the look or the cohesion behind the structure of what they're doing to really, really reach people. And they think that if they get a Grammy-winning mix or a Billboard charting engineer on their song, that will be the thing. That will be the thing that takes them to the next level. They're like, Ed Sheeran's engineer mixed my song, and they're still frustrated that they have 300 streams and 42 monthly listeners, but they paid $600 for like a really prolific mix. And I think that the people get it backwards a lot. So why I really want to mention this, because I think a lot of people just have it the wrong way. None of it matters if you don't have a good song. And I think that's what you are doing is proof of that. A good show, a good band. I'm looking at the Spotify, a cohesive image. It looks polished. It looks professional, and pretty damn good mix on the song, right? Like maybe there's things you can shift. I don't know. That's very subjective. It's very nuanced. Like maybe this mud is whatever. But that doesn't matter if you're connecting to people. It's very, very low. It's like number 6 on the list. You know what I mean? It's like it's way down here. And this is from someone who makes a living mixing music. I think that what I do on the song is very, very secondary to the song itself and what it is and who's performing it. That to me is the biggest part in the world. Now, when you get a phenomenal mix and phenomenal musicians on a phenomenal song, and you understand how to get it out to people, and you have charisma, then it's that's your golden egg. That's the rocket ship right there that can really, really take you over the edge. And a lot of people are missing a lot of those steps. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that because people can kind of get defensive sometimes, where they're like, like why, what can I, when you have hundreds of thousands, 712,000 streams, what can I say if it's working, right? What can I say? Like, why would I even mention something on the mix when obviously your music is working? And I do agree to that. I don't have an ego in it where I'm like, no, I'm right. I agree with anyone that would say that, because the song matters way more than that mix ever did. Now, since we know that, I love improving on the mix. I'm passionate about the things that we do. I'm passionate about musicianship and mixing and production structure and writing and stuff like that. So I always want to chip away at the quality. I think we can in some small ways, but I just want to give y'all flowers because you're doing so many things well and doing so many things right. The mix is always secondary. Mix is always, always, always secondary to a well-written song, and that takes a lot of different forms. Anyways. Just wanted to shout y'all out for that, because I think y'all are fantastic. This is so true. That has always been the idea. You can check out our latest live release with 1.4K. That is our thing live. Yeah, I love that. I love it.
Sä olet housut taga, maankaan huippu. Saanut olen täiesti loppus.
Jalkais kiinni, muidu ulmit veel minämään.
Drums and bass is absolutely killer. Let me get into this last section here, but man, please go. Keep in mind, y'all, this is Art Part, who's right here in the chat. This song is out on all platforms. It is released. Please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go follow on Spotify and other DSPs. Y'all are crushing it. You're crushing it. I'm really enjoying this. Come on, brass. Woo! Great dynamics. Yeah, it's beautiful. Y'all are awesome. I'm really proud of the work and the effort that y'all put into your music. It's really, really cool to hear. Great dynamics. Great musicianship.
Tässä tuleeksi kaasa, kuin sun vastuus on jakaa. Pohtumme kuska päiväs ja meris ja kalas, pelami paistoo. Olemme selleks
High octave is crazy. Killer. Y'all, show some love. Show some love. That is Arc Part. Please go stream their music. Show them some love and support. I think y'all are amazing. Great musicianship. Really, really good sound. Really, really good structure. Even though I don't understand what's being said, you can feel the energy and the emotion in your performances. And again, it is proven by your track record, which is most of these popular releases having hundreds of thousands of streams, 25,000 plus monthly listeners currently speaking. And then, songs with 140,000, 450,000, 450,712, 430. Like big streams. These are big streams. Y'all are doing a lot of things right. So y'all should be very proud of what you're doing. What's up, first? Just welcome in. It's a little, I have a couple on my plate right now. I would say it's not super open right now. I'm still a little under the water as far as like some of my current like projects and current things I'm trying to take on. Give me like hopefully, ideally, I'm gonna try. Give me like a month. Give me like a month and maybe I can open up some stuff for collabs, stuff like that. But y'all, please show some love to our part. I think y'all are fantastic. Let's get into these last two songs, y'all. Last two songs. We've got Sebastian in the building. Sebastian, hop in the chat if you're here. If you're not, we'll keep it rolling. Absolutely. It's so fun. I love it, man. This is one of the things that I think is so, that's MOK Go. Okay, perfect. That's one of the things to me that is so powerful about music is, although I wish I could understand the lyrics, there's so much beyond just what's being said and how it's presented that to me is so emotional and so impactful and so powerful. So I'm so grateful for you sending that in. I really greatly appreciate that. Please show some love and make sure y'all are following on TikTok as well. Okay, so Okay Bro right here is Sebastian. This is Gone with the Heat. Let's get into it. Okay, beautiful. I love it, man. Yeah. Give me a minute to figure some things out and get a little bit more organized because I haven't taken on any. Thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate it. I haven't taken on any collaborations like at all in the last like 7 years. Or very few, very few, or like none that took work from me. And so I've been very shy about it just because I just have not had the capacity to execute it. And I don't want to be like, yeah, I'll do it. And then you're spending 9 months waiting on a feature or something. I just hate doing stuff like that. But I want to get more in that world. I want to branch out. I want to spread my roots a little bit and get some things, in other projects. I think it'll be fun, but I gotta get a little more organized. All right, we got Gone with the Heat, early mix, but let me know what you think about it in general. It should, if I should change anything besides the mix. Okay, let's get into it. Yeah, give me the details. Give me the details, Sebastian, as far as the role that you play. The role that you play in the music. Talk to me a little bit about what I'm hearing, how you got there, and stuff like that. Would love a little bit of background on this. But this is Gone with the Heat by Sebastian right here in the chat. Let's go. Pull up the SoundCloud here. Let's go. 2-track, I'm the writer and the vocals. Okay, cool. BeatStars lease or like YouTube download. Hammerhead, welcome in. Lease, okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. My summer, she walked out with the heels all them sides to sink his teeth. Last week I asked if he felt things, last week he told me not a thing. I tried to play it cool, like some summer breeze. I tried changing mood, but no, this is fiend. It didn't hurt much, but I felt things. I just so clear as diamond rings. Guess a new season, new feelings break. Got me rolling up my day, got no self-control like Frank. Guess I'm healing slow, I'm feeling low. Watch
Do you have stems or no?
But I'm a change, diamonds in my range.
Oh no, you said it's a 2-track. You said it's a 2-track, never mind.
Be away, stayed away,
My
I
bad.
break, might be late, but I'ma find a way. Even if I do, without you, I'ma find a way to smile at the truth.
I found you when I never wanted. I found you when I didn't need to. I found you when it was so good.
What DAW are you using?
These days over for good. I found you when I never
Okay, cool.
I found you when I didn't
I can agree with that.
found you when it was so good.
'Cause I wanna beef up these drums.
Over for good. I found you. That's me on the down.
I want to feel this a little bit more. Get a little more drive behind it. That'll be easier when you have a drum stem that you can saturate, compress a little bit more.
Hold on tight, don't let go, baby. So I only had you in my life, had you in the night, loved you like a light, and hold you through the night.
Let's go. Y'all show some love. It's Okay Bro right here in the chat. But the artist is Sebastian. is the artist name, or Sebastian is the name that I have over here as well. It's called Gone with the Heat. They're going to get the stems so that they can re-release this and get some movement on it. But let's dive in, man. Gone with the Heat. Let's run it from the top. Let's get into the details of it. A couple little vocal production things I want to talk about, and then some things that I would look for, since I don't want to necessarily like break down elements of this particular mix, since it's going to be changed, right? So once you get track outs, the whole mix is going to change. So me saying like the hi-hats are too quiet or whatever, it doesn't make that much of a difference. You'll have to restructure the mix whenever you get the track outs anyways. What I want to do is give you some things to look for and some things that I would shoot for when you go into your next mix with the multi-track or with the stems. That way you can get as much out of that multi-track as possible, because it's a cool production and there's a lot of cool vocal lines in here that are kind of getting lost in the background, or missing some power behind them. So that's the main thing that I want to break down. Is like, when you get into your next mix with stems, here's the things that I would look for. Here's what I would address, and then you can kind of go from there. And that's Gone with the Heat by Sebastian right here in the chat. Let's run it from the top. Love, we talk about this all the time. I mention it usually once alive. There's a 30-second threshold for streams. I'll just keeping this in mind. I'll just do my spiel quickly without getting into it. There's a 30-second threshold for streams on most major DSPs. If people do not listen to your song for 30 seconds at least, it does not count as a stream and you don't get paid for it, which means 1 million people could stream your song. For 27 seconds, you'll see 0 streams and $0. They've got to stream past that point. So optimizing your intro is really important. It's really, really important. Of making sure that you are there, you're present, even if it's a minute-long intro, having you in there. Take a deep breath, say something, start with some poetry, copy a hook over to the intro, filter it out in the background, do some ad-libs, light a lighter, let people know that you're there. You do a great job of this. I mean, early on, we get some kind of auto-tune background filler vocals there. You do a good job of just like letting people know. And what that tells me immediately as a listener is whether or not I should stay, and like whether or not I like trust what's happening in front of me and will stay to actually finish out the rest of the song, right? And in this case, it's like, if you like a more like melodic rap movement, if you like a little bit of this like highly tuned R&B or whatever you want to do, right? However you want to structure it. If you like that, you're going to hear something early on that tells you that, and you're going to stay at least to like 40 seconds. And if you hate it after that, you move on, but at least you got paid and at least you got to stream. On the other side of it, if they don't like it, they know early and they leave, and it doesn't affect your streams anyways, right? Because they never reached the threshold in the first place. B, welcome in. I appreciate you tapping in. We're closed for today, but I will be live again maybe tomorrow. I'm not positive. I need to look at my schedule. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. But I appreciate you tapping in. Make sure you all are following on either Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok. And we'll open up the line again the next time that we dive in. Magnus, welcome in, or Megan's. I think it's Megan's. I almost said Magnus because I almost saw those backwards. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. All right. Let's get into the mix here a little bit. Last 2 songs here though, y'all. We got one more after this. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, wait.
My summer, she walked out with the he has all them sight to sink his teeth.
I guess I didn't catch it yesterday, and I don't know. It's because the screen is like, there's all these, I have like lights on either side of the desk right here. And so sometimes it's like hard to see on the screen because there's like a glare. And so I was like, oh wait, it's Megan's. I thought I was like, hold on one second. Anyways, okay, we're back. Thank you so much, Brown. I appreciate you.
You told me not a thing.
That's
I try
funny.
to play it cool like some summer breeze. I try changing
Like these drums in the back, I like the pattern of these drums, right? So here's where we can kind of look to the future and say, what do we want to do with these once you get the stems? Once you get the track outs for these drums, right? I would hopefully you get them dry without a bunch of reverb on them. You can add your own in stereo to give it some space. I think that'll sound fine. But I want to I want to compress them and saturate them. Adding some tension and some color and some texture to these drums is going to be so important, right? It's going to beef them up. It's going to give them some harmonics. I'm called My Guns for some reason. Okay, I mean, it works. I'll try to. I mean, I want to make sure that I'm saying the name right. So if it's My Guns, then I want to say it correctly. when it comes to these drums, I want harmonics. I want a little bit of crunch, a little bit of weight to them. Saturation is going to be one of the ways that you accomplish that. So some tasteful saturation on these drums, just to the not to the point where it's like distorted like crazy, but to the point where you introduce some harmonics. You help shave off some of that top end crispiness, but you give it some warmth, some energy. It gives it some body and some presence. Those drums feel a little bit darker and a little bit heavier. They have a little bit of texture to them. That's what I'm looking for from the drum side. Most of the rest of this production, I think, will be fairly easy for you to mix. It's nice, wide, open, ethereal synths and delays and reverbs and stuff like that. I think will be fairly easy. Just make them, just don't make them too crazy, and they'll fill in a lot of gaps. But for me, this is a lot of the power of this mix is going to come down to production. It's going to come down to like bass and I meant percussion. It's going to come down to percussion, the way that you mix the drums, the way that you balance the bass, and then of course top line vocal over the top of it. So pay a lot of attention when you get the multi-track or the stems. When you get those, pay a lot of attention to drums, bass, and vocals. Those are your non-negotiables in the style. Everything else is vibe. Everything else is kind of like texture and ambiance and stuff like that, environment. So make sure like the bass is warm and moody. Make sure the drums are like snappy and they have some weight to it, and they have some saturation to them. Make sure make sure the vocals are clean and clear over the top, and then fill in with pads and ambiance and synths and vocal samples and stuff like that.
I know this is fiend. It didn't hurt much, but I felt things. I just so clear as diamond rings. Guess a new season, new feelings break. Got me rolling up my day, got no self-control like Frank.
Because right now, I think so you have some good clarity from your vocal. Right now, your vocals feel way too hot in the production. Like they feel very, very separate from the 2-track, that's a tough thing to do when you're working with. There's ways with like mid-side EQ and stuff like that. It's really easy to, help work a vocal into a 2-track, even if it's on the top and you don't have multi. There's ways to kind of mitigate that and make it a little bit more connected. But right now it's very much so like beat down here, vocal up here. They're very separate, and you can tell that they're kind of separate in the mix. I want that to be a little bit more connected. That'll be easier when you have the multi-track, obviously. Let me back it up here a little bit. But one of the things is that vocal feels really prominent. I also think one of the reasons why it feels prominent is because those drums don't have any weight behind them. The synths, I think where they're sitting, I think it might be fine. Some of the samples, I think, might be fine. The bass might be fine. Maybe it can come up a little bit. That might be fine. We can, maybe push it a little bit. But for me, I want to make sure that like the drums and that vocal really sit together. So the vocals do feel really prominent right now, but I think part of that is just the fact that there's like nothing supporting it, right? The drums are like the snare and stuff is like very suppressed back in the mix. Once you get multi, you can push those drums forward by a couple dB, or just add like 2 or 3 dB of like glue compression on those drums, saturate it nicely, and then push them forward. So like boom, ka, boom, ka, like all that energy right there feels really prominent, feels really energetic. And I think from there, you'll be in a much better spot. Like I said, prioritize drums, bass, and vocal. Everything else fill in.
Watch TV with stinks, but I'ma change. Diamonds in my range, watch me set my plate. I'm asleep, I should be awake. Say the way heartbreak might be late, but I'ma find a way. Even if I do without you, I'ma find a way to smile at the truth.
I found you when I never wanted. I found you when I didn't need to. I found you.
Right there, I would love. I know you're on FL Studio right now. Dun-na. I want that top note right there. Again, the thing that I mention this 50 times a day, but the thing that I always mention is, what are people singing with you? When you're writing a song, when you're building melodics, like when you're building structure for your songwriting, what do you want people to sing with you in your song? And so this comes down to making your melody structure really clean and clear, right? The da-na-na-na-na-na. If you have auto-tune controlling where the vocal goes, like let's say on the high notes every once in a while, you're flat on the note or a little bit sharp, and everyone is, it's fine. If you're flat or sharp on a note a little bit too far, and it like automatically corrects up a semitone too high as opposed to down in the scale. And so the intended notes are not what you're hearing. Just kind of the vibe of autotune is what you're hearing. You're really just hearing the effect. Take control and correct it to the closest note, but it's not your intended note for the melody. What I want to hear, especially in a song like this, is fairly controlled as far as the vocal goes, especially in the verses. It sounds pretty controlled. I want to hear that I want to hear that I want to hear like a distinct melody structure right there. And I think because the autotune grabs it, it kind of corrects it to a note that's not intended. Like right here. Didn't need to. You hear it it blends up a couple other semitones above right there. If that is an intentional like throwaway vocal at the end there where you just want it to kind of release and fall out, then what I would do, and this takes automation, it takes some really intentional stuff, is I would probably amplify that a little bit and like have a really, really quick like slap delay tail right at the end of that. Need to do, and it kind of throws away right there, so it feels like intentional the way that you scoop it up, and or bypass auto-tune for that note. So you have da na 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 na, and then da na 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 na, and it floats away like without auto-tune on my voice, right? It just bends naturally and it sounds like more easy, even if it's like doubled and highly compressed. That's going to sound different than it's like auto-tuning to different notes all the way through that scoop right there. So I would either like automate a bypass for auto-tune so your notes aren't grabbed right there, and or really fine tune that note to be the and it's like really clean and really clear with those melodies. Because it's like, I like these doubles a lot. That's what I'm saying. It's like I like the feel. I like the double. I like this kind of bit crushed, overdriven vocal. I like the chorus on it. Like there's a lot of the things that you're doing, Sebastian, that are really, really nice. I think they sound really, really good. And there's some like good, catchy lyrics in here, some good melodies. So there's a lot that I really appreciate about it. To me, it's coming down to making sure that we're getting out of this record what we're putting in. You know, like we've talked about with a bunch of other artists. We're like, you're putting in these vocals. I want to make sure that what we get out on the other side is powerful. It's distinct melodies. It's like really crystal clear. If you have it, I would melodyne maybe those vocals. I would put them exactly where you want them to be. So if that note is a little bit off, I would just grab that one note. Rest of them are great. Dun, dun. That little scoop right there, just dun, dun, just get it locked into that note right there so the auto-tune grabs it and it's already perfect. As soon as the auto-tune kicks in, it's just kicking in on an already tuned vocal. So you're just getting the effect of the chorusing and the reverb and the auto-tune and stuff like that. So if there's a couple notes in there where you're hearing those modulations and pitch, you're hearing like the auto-tune kind of do weird stuff, and you're like, I don't know, it's just the way the auto-tune's doing it based on the vocal that you've recorded. Try to manually correct those if you can. If you don't have Melodyne, there's other plugins that you can use. But that would be my recommendation, to get that as like sharp and clean and distinct as possible. What's up, Busy? Welcome in. This is great. This is on it. I found you and I never wanted. This is a great intro as well. I think this would actually sound really good here. Found you. Like, this would be a great background. Instead of all of the floaty stuff, just filter this in the background right here. Like, just bring this back. Found You know what I mean? Like having something like that in the intro, even just on the B section, filter it out. Still, like maybe the doubles, but it's like filtered down a little bit, telephone style, but it's like doubled in stereo. Like you can make something like that interesting in the intro. For one, immediately more catchy. Immediately you have a second hook, because the song doesn't really have a second hook, which is kind of unfortunate, because it's catchy, but you only have like one moment of this hook where you're not doing the rapping. And so you don't have the repetition or like the pattern recognition to really grab people. You have like half of it and it sounds good, but it might not be memorable. So starting with the hook early on, even if it's a full hook or a filtered hook, starting with the hook, since you have a longer intro, might be the best way to have a double hook and it be more catchy. So when you go back into this here, when you go back to here, this is now the second time that people are hearing these lyrics. It's going to be way more catchy. It's going to grab people way more. Of course. And to be honest with you, personal preference, you do not have to do this. You can keep these ad-libs in the background right here. To me, personally speaking, they don't add anything to the song. And again, this is a limited song. This is a 2-minute song, right? Yeah, literally 2-minute song. This is a 2-minute song. You need to kind of squeeze a 2-minute song for everything that it is. There's not a lot of space. What's happening here is you have a 2-minute song, but you have like a 30-second outro and a 20-second intro, which means you basically have like 70 seconds of your music in the middle. You know what I mean? Like there's really only like a 1:10 of Sebastian, of you doing your thing, and there being like viable song structure that like is additive and that people will like learn and like and sing with you, right? It's really only a minute of that. It's a 2-minute song. I would give them more. So what I kind of imagine is amplify the hook. You have a good verse in the middle here, a good like extended verse in the middle of here. Start the like start the hook here. So like do maybe the first 4 bars of the intro normal, then maybe bring in a filtered hook on the intro leading into your verses, and then go to this portion here. Do the break and do one more hook. Just double the hook here. I found you and didn't know want it. Found you and never need it. Found you and never want it. And then cut. Like one more pass on the hook right there. Again, it's just formatting it, like formatting the song structure in a way that it's like maximizing the potential for it being catchy, maximizing the memorability of a song like this. And this is a short pop song. I mean, some rap in there, but like, it's a short like pop R&B record. It's 2 minutes long. And so if you're gonna have a 2-minute song, we need more information in there. If a minute and a half of a 2-minute song is just ad libs, and it's just like filler vocals and stuff like that, you just won't grab people. It might sound good, but they won't remember it. And so if you want people to remember it, you want it to grab people, you want it to stick, you want them to hum those melodies. So catchy, So like, we want to give them as many opportunities as possible to like remember the song and grab onto it. 3 to 4 minutes is normally what is needed. 6 to 10 minutes can lose people's attention. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the song and the role of the song, right? Like there's songs out there with 2 billion streams that are, 5.5 minutes long. There's a lot of songs out there that do really well. The song by Ray and 070 Shake is a good example of that, where it's like a 5-minute song or a 5.5 minute song or 4.5 minute song, something like that. It's a long song, 4.5 minute song. But it has so many twists and turns as far as the production goes and the energy of the vocals go and the different features go, that it just makes a lot of sense and it works really well. If you're gonna have a short song, we just need to fill. We can't have there's more space for fillers in a 3.5 minute song, right? A longer intro and outro fade out, an interlude with a little bit of a solo, some ad libs to transition your verses and stuff like that. You don't have a lot of that opportunity if you have a short song. If it's a short song, we got to optimize, we got to polish, we got to keep it really connected. And on this outro right here, same thing. It's a little boomy on the outro here. Yeah, dude, I love me, but bring back solos and bridges. I love that. That's why I love the 80s. Every 80s song had like a bridge and a solo, like a guitar solo, drum solo, synth solo. Like, dude, it's my favorite. That dance break. I don't know. I love the 80s because of the song structure. It makes me so happy every time I hear it. On this outro right here, I like the idea of ending with the acapella. I don't mind that one bit. I think it's a great idea. It's creative. It's weird. It's quirky. I think it's great in a song like this. We just got to polish it. It's a little boomy in the low mids. It's a little bit, it's got a little bit of mud down there. So 100 to 300 hertz, where a lot of that boominess is sitting, pull it down by like 2-3 dB and just regain some clarity on that vocal. You have a huge reverb on there as well, which is fine stylistically if you want that, but carve a little space on that. Most reverbs have a filter on it. If it doesn't, you can add an EQ to that reverb wherever it's sitting to carve some space, but make sure there's not as much of the lows of that reverb coming into the mix as well. It's just really booming in the low end, so you lose the cool thing that you're doing. And then same thing, I would love some manual corrections of that vocal, so we're not hearing the auto-tune kind of pull you out of the key a little bit, or like pull you into a different space. I want to hear like these ending melodies really distinctly and really clean, so that the last little acapella moment of the song, where all we get is Sebastian's vocal, I want that to be like really sharp. I want it to feel like really polished and really good while still feeling emotional and authentic, so on and so on. Y'all show some love to Sebastian. That's okay, bro, right here in the chat. Show some love to Sebastian. I think there's a lot of really cool vibe to your song. Honestly, the bones are really good. It's a cool aesthetic. It's dark. It's moody. It's interesting. Your structure on here, I think, is interesting. The way that you've built it out. I think we can polish it a little bit. I think we can connect it a little bit more. But I think you're doing a lot of things well. Chisakna, thank you so much for tapping in. Dude, absolutely, man. I appreciate you being here. Any genre, is it a Hun? Thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you for the follow. Any genre, any style, any level of quality or preparedness. We're closed for today, but I'll probably be live this weekend, maybe a day or two. So definitely make sure that y'all are following. We'll open up the lines again, maybe tomorrow if I have time. Love and appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have been fantastic today. So let's get into this last song here. We got Ridgebound in the building. Ridgebound in the building. This is our last song of the day. Let me just double check over here, make sure that everything is clean and clear. Let's go. All right, this is Shiloh Attack by Ridgebound. This is a song that kind of encapsulates the sound we're going for, like a raw, hypnotic folk country. That's a combo right there. Let's get into it. The song is about two brothers walking home from a Civil War battle. The production is raw, but between the limitations of our capabilities and truly what we like, we're okay with that. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, bro, thank you for the follow. Tree, thank you so much for the follow as well. I appreciate that. All right. Let's dive in. Shiloh Attack by Ridgebound. Any other details you want me to know, drop it in the chat. This is our final song of the night. And then we'll open up things again, either tomorrow or in a couple days. Let's see. Open up Spotify. I wrote the song, main vocals, and played some. Okay, cool. I do. Yep, that's a good chunk of what I do for a living. I do. There's a couple things that I do for a living. One is mixing and mastering, of course, like doing mixes. I do a lot of session work as well. So people hire me to track analog synths, keys. I have like 12 synths here in the studio. So I do a lot of synth stuff. That's what I've played since I was 6 years old. And then I also do electric, acoustic, and bass guitars, live drums, vocals, stuff like that. So I do a lot of session stuff, a lot of production stuff, and then, of course, some mixing and mastering. What's up, Retrack? Welcome in. Let's see. All right, Shiloh Attack. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Produce yourself. Beautiful.
Lost our brother on the walk back.
What's up, Retrack? Thank you for the heartbeat, man. I hope you're doing amazing today.
The hole in his shoulder, I could see it in his eyes every time he pulled the trigger. Weighing heavy on
How are you tracking your vocals?
Said the pain will fade away. It's different this time. I watch the light go as dark.
Like what kind of mic and stuff like that?
Sat down on the creek bank just south of Tennessee.
Shoot me a DM. I got you. I'll send you any info and stuff like that. Depends on the depth of the track and kind of what we're working on. Yeah, Instagram's fine. Same name.
If I remember right, the last words he said to me, tell my mother I died, a shallow attack. Oh, mama, I tried to bring him home. Oh, mama, I tried. The road's too long. Buried his pistol and I buried his bone. His battle was won. He died a hero.
Is you on the guitar? Nice. Wait, is this your cousin in the chat? Or no? Maybe not. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go. Y'all show some of, okay, sounds good. I just, when he get, yeah. I'm no one's cousin here. It sounds good. I was asking just because the question was right after it, and there's like, I'm not that serious. I'm just a hobbyist, but whatever. So I was just making sure. I'm no one's cousin here. Sounds good. Shout out to Ridgebound. That is Shiloh Attack by Ridgebound. Me, him, and my dad and I. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's the group. Y'all show some love. The song is out on all platforms, so please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, all that fun stuff. Let's get into it. Let's run it from the top. We'll talk about a couple things. Here's the thing that, to me, there's one overarching point that'll kind of that'll be the main thing that I dive in for this before we get out of here, is finding the balance between raw, organic, natural tone, natural sound, natural voice, all of that stuff. Not overproduced, right? This is not a modern pop record. A balance between what I would call transparent sound versus like really, really processed, right? And in the goal of being raw, natural, organic, transparent, as I call it, or as many people would call it, is still pursuing separation and clarity. And you can have a really clean guitar double tracked in there, really great doubles of the vocal, really great, like even like cajon and djembes and stuff like that in the background for a lot of like your supportive percussion and stuff like that. And have all this stuff working together, electric guitar build up in the background there, and still have beautiful separation and clarity of each, so I can hear each of the elements as they exist there, and it still feel very like vintage and retro and warm and dark and moody and distorted and whatever you want it to be, right? And so my goal for like a record like this is I feel like I'm missing some information in the background because of all of this like resonance in the vocals in the middle of the mix and the reverb's carrying that, so it makes the vocals muddier. I still want them natural, right? Like I'm not tossing auto-tune on there and adding 4 compressors. You still want it natural and really, really just clean, but I don't want some like ringing or resonance in that vocal also happening in the background vocal carried by a reverb to limit the clarity and separation of that vocal. So when people hear it and they want to sing it, they want to learn the lyrics, they want to vibe to it, there's nothing standing in the way of that. I love a really like raw, rugged record that is, underproduced in, if anything, and it feels really like warm to listen to, and it feels crackly, and it feels like there's nuance to it. It feels flawed in some really beautiful ways. That is one of the most beautiful things about really raw music like this, and I want to maintain all of that. And I want to hear everything that's going on and make sure that if I turn this up any louder, it wouldn't like hurt my ears because of some ringing at 2000 hertz, right? So there's a little bit of a sweet spot in between the goal of completely organic sounding and, clarity and it being pretty dry. I think there's a middle ground to that is very natural, a completely natural sounding vocal, completely organic sounding like percussion and guitars and stuff like that. And I can really feel everything that's happening in the background. Someone said trying a different mic. Do you know what mic you were using? To me, the mic is less of the issue. It's more on the mixing side and the processing side, I think. The mic makes. I've had a bunch of different mics. This is a really nice tube microphone, and I like it a lot. But I also have owned $100 mics and $120 mics and $150 mics and just using 57s or, Shure 58s and stuff like that. I have an SM7B that's, $400 mic. The mic is not going to be the difference in what I'm hearing necessarily. There are microphones, AKG large diaphragm, okay, beautiful. There's anything that is probably fine. I don't think that's going to be, and I also like nice stuff and I like upgrading and I like getting new things, but I don't think that is the thing that matters more than the execution on the processing side of what is being represented there. So if you feel up to upgrading and you have the budget to get a new microphone, have the capacity to do that, I'm a fan. That it can help. But I don't think it's the make or break in what I'm hearing here. I think you could get a pretty phenomenal mix on some pretty cheap stuff if you know what you're doing. I had high sensitivity and sing closer and quieter. Does any of this matter? Yeah, if you have a higher gain going into your like early preamps and stuff like that, your proximity is closer, and you're singing quieter, so on and so on. That is part of what's going to give you more proximity effects. So a little bit more boom, a little bit more resonance. Anytime that you're singing closer, the issue that you'll run into if you're not hyper aware of everything that you're doing, the thing that you'll run into is there's less space for diffusion. So one of the issues that a lot of people run into when they're singing really, really close is if it's not a phenomenal microphone, or or it's just a microphone that doesn't complement your vocal very well. For some people, like maybe, I don't know what you're using, but let's say a AKG C414 XL2 or something like that. If that's what you're using, some people that voice that mic just shines with them. It works. It just works. It just happens to work. For someone else, it feels like tinny and sibilant and too bright and too over exaggerated at the top mid, and they just don't like it. It doesn't complement their vocal as well or at all, right? And so for that person, it's going to be a little bit different. But the thing that you're going to run into is the closer you are, the more those issues are going to be more prominent, right? So sibilants, those S's and T's, plosive energy. Like if I get really close to the microphone, mine's processed a lot and I don't have a pop filter right now, but if I get really close to the microphone, that proximity effect, that low end boom, resonance in certain frequencies is going to be more prominent because I don't have this space to diffuse that, or, you know, a pop filter in my case, but you don't have the space for that low end energy to kind of diffuse before it hits the diaphragm of the mic, for that sibilance to diffuse a little bit before it hits. Everything is going to be so much more sensitive and close and intimate, right? When you're really, really close to the microphone. So one recommendation would be probably to, you know, to gain stage maybe a little bit differently, maybe back off the mic just a little bit, angle it down slightly so you're not getting as much of that plosive energy and sibilant energy, so you're not having to overprocess as much to correct for it. There's things that you can do, but if you want the effect of being close to the microphone and this sensitivity and this weight and this texture right here, then you just have to have incredible breath control, a good pop filter, good angling and stuff like that. I'm having a hard time keeping the sound I like with the double vocal tracks and reverb verse. I'll wait for the next one to come in before I move on. If you want to sing, yeah, that's that's the challenge. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's the overarching point that I'm talking about is, Harley, welcome in. Good to see you. That's kind of what I'm talking about, of that balance between the vision that you have and making sure that there's still clarity. And that is the balancing act. Now, there's ways that we can do that, right? Let's get into the song. There's not really a whole lot else I want to talk about. This is the main like philosophy that I want to talk about, and like kind of overarching point that I want to talk about, because y'all are good writers and you're good musicians, and I'm not too worried about that. But it's kind of the way that you approach the mixing that I think is going to be one of the most challenging things for y'all to kind of, you know, figure out. Appreciate you, Eddie. Welcome in. Like, I really do not mind this really natural sound here. I don't mind it. There's some parts that gets a little bit muddy because a lot of it's kind of coming at you from here. There are some double tracks in there and they're coming fairly close. It would be nice to open them up in stereo a little bit more because it'll just give you more space. Part of what we're hearing is vocal layer, percussion, guitar double track, and, you know, all of this stuff kind of hitting you from right here. Some stereo reverbs, but a lot of it's like within 30% of mono. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pretty close to center channel. So you're not getting a lot of openness. It could be nice to hear like a double tracked acoustic guitar left and right a little bit farther, supported because there's multiple layers to it, supported by a higher layer. So maybe like a lower, more consistent rhythm structure is, excuse me, is like, you know, maybe you have like this. Like your rhythm structure is double tracked to left and right at like 75%, nice and wide. Keeping a lot of the same things that you're doing, but then maybe you have like a picking pattern of that same kind of acoustic a little bit higher. Right? It's just like a higher pattern that also sits left and right, but it's, you know, you have like multiple layers there doing the same thing you're already doing kind of, but positioned outside a little bit, because then it's not stepping on the toes of the lead vocal as much, because if those lead vocals are all kind of doubled and reverberated right here in the middle of the mix, and the guitars are also right there with their doubles and their reverb, then that's where it's going to start getting a little bit more muddy. But if all of a sudden I take these you know, double tracked acoustic guitars and maybe a couple layers of them, and I push them out here like 50 to 75% wider if you want to, you know, 100% if you want to. I push them out here a little bit. All of a sudden, they're not stepping on the toes of those doubles and those reverbs of the lead vocal anymore. And we can polish that. We can come back. We can filter those reverbs. We can, you know, mess with that a little bit. Same structure, same raw organic acoustic sound, positioned in a way where there's better clarity, right? That's huge, right? Because like I said before, my goal is, this is not an Ed Sheeran song, right? This is not supposed to be like a modern acoustic pop song, or even like a, you know, a Noah Kahan song. Like, this is supposed to be a little bit more rugged. And so I wanted to keep that, but this is the power of like amplitude and positioning, where it's like, take what you have and like move it out here a little bit and maybe filter the reverb slightly, and you already have better clarity and separation. Because these are all largely in mono. The guitars are nice and wide. I'm sorry, the electric guitars, they come in nice and wide. Those are beautiful. I like that. And when it comes to the doubles here's my recommendation. My recommendation, because the doubles, they work well here, and they're doing, I think, what you want them to do, so I don't want to touch them too much. What I would do with a vocal like this, and again, for future records and a song that's similar in style to this, is have a slight bias towards one of those vocals to kind of be the lead supported by another. The lead would be a little bit drier and a little bit more forward, maybe a little bit more saturated, and it's got a good texture and a good weight to it. It feels very vintage, very, very, colorful in that way. And the background vocal is going to take care of doubles, right? So you're actually going to pan it offset, but let's say like 2%. So you're going to take, instead of them being right in a line like this, you're going to open them up like this. So the middle vocal is right here. It's forward, it's punchy, is doing what you want it to do. This one is next to it, like 2%, 3%, 5% offset, and back in the mix by a couple dB. So it's supporting that vocal. It's like taking something right in a line and giving it some weight. You're opening up that image just a little bit, but it's still a direct double of that vocal right next to it. So it's very, very close. Again, you're kind of just taking that vocal and just like shifting it to the outside, right? Again, getting it out of the way of itself a little bit. This is what we're talking about when it comes to separation, right? And distinction between these different elements. And on this background vocal, I would do maybe a couple of them. You could do a couple doubles of them. You can pan some of them farther out if you want to, or just do the one or a few. And on those will carry more of your like, spring reverbs and slapped like tape delays, ping pong delays, spring reverbs, plate reverbs and stuff like that. Put those on the background vocal so you never miss out on any clarity of the lead vocal. The lead vocal is always forward, fairly punchy, and it's got some weight to it. It feels dark and it feels saturated. This doesn't have to be bright and polished. It can still be dark and saturated, but it's kind of here in the front. Nothing is stepping on its toes. The guitars are nice and wide. The vocal is standing right next to the other vocal. Lead vocal is right in the front. And then the background vocal is giving you the reflection. It's giving you kind of that weight and that texture. It doesn't mean you can't have reverbs and stuff, and you probably should have some reverbs on the lead vocal, but we're biasing, right? So right now it kind of sounds like both vocals are right in the middle. Both vocals are kind of loud. Both vocals have a lot of reverb on them, right? They're kind of doing a lot of the same thing. So all I'm saying is let's like shift a little bit. Let's pull now let's separate them, pull one down a little bit, and have this one this one has some reverb, this one has more reverb. And you're just shifting the energy of the way that you're processing. Exactly. Because your lead vocal is a little bit louder, a little bit cleaner, but it's still supported by a wide, vibrant, colorful production. And if you want to distort things and move them around, you can. But you're not going to miss out on what is like a non-negotiable in the mix, which is the clarity of the lead vocal, right? That to me is a good. And you could still like, dude, if you want to throw like a crazy distortion on your lead vocal, you can. But at least nothing will step on the toes of that distorted lead vocal. It'll live in its own space because you've panned some things to the outside and you've opened them up a little bit. I think that will wake this up like crazy. Legend has the Torvik being a single and would shift the entire half of the world population. That's great. That's crazy, actually, timeline. Thank God I don't have to worry about that. So right in there, you listen to those vocals right there, you're getting a lot of what I would just call resonance is just sound, right? People say, this is resonating. Well, it's sound, it's all resonating. So resonance is just sound and vibration and whatever, right? But in this case, it's what I would call unbeneficial resonance, where it's like ringing in the middle of the mix right there. So when you hear that ringing, I'm at like 59 seconds here. I can't ring it, but you hear this like whistling in the middle of the mix. Those frequencies, they don't benefit anything. They're not adding any like, prominence. They're not adding any punch or any drive. They're not adding any clarity. They're in fact only taking over the mix. They're ringing and resonating in the middle of the mix, usually about 1500 hertz, 2000 hertz, kind of in that pocket right there. It's robbing you of headroom so you can't push your loudness as much. There's a lot of aspects, and it also is just harsh to listen to. It's just abrasive to listen to when you have that ringing in those vocals. And so what's happening is you have ringing in the vocals in the mids. Again, probably around 2000 hertz. You can just check it, right? Once you hear that ringing, just go into your EQ on that vocal and you'll see some little peaks, or you can like boost up just a tad. I don't recommend doing this too surgically. Once you hear the ringing, go to like 1500, 2000 hertz, boost up a little bit and then kind of target it. Nice short cue and then notch it down 3 dB and that should take care of it for the most part. It'll balance it better and you'll regain some clarity like that immediately. 20-second revision. You know what I mean? Quick little things like that just to take out some of that ringing in the background. Because what's happening is you have two loud, like we already said, two loud vocals, both ringing. So you get this buildup of energy in the mids right there that they're giving you a lot of that texture. And then big loud reverbs carrying that ringing for the next 3 seconds that the reverb is there, right? So like you have this buildup of different parts of your processing that are creating issues where it's not just the ringing, but it's the fact that it's two vocals, both loud, both ringing, both with big reverbs carrying the ring for 3 seconds. And then the next line starts and that keeps happening for the whole song. So you start to get all, and then it's all happening in the middle of the mix where the guitars are and the percussion, there's all of these things, right? They all kind of, this is the annoying part about mixing, and that's kind of frustrating to deal with sometimes. It's not always one thing, but it's oftentimes the culmination of all of these little decisions that add up to, kind of destroying your clarity in the mix and your separation in the mix. So, it can be as simple as just like get the guitars out of the way, get the lead vocal down out of the way, reduce the reverb by 10%, bias the reverb to the background vocal, take care of the ringing at, 1800 hertz, and then so on and so on. Like all of a sudden, in 5 minutes, we've transformed the way the mix sounds. It just feels like a completely different world. Okay, let me get to the outro. Let me get to the outro here really quick. Love the guitar though. Guitar sounds nice. Like I love the nastiness of this. Like I said, none of the pursuit of clarity is to take away nasty. We need nasty. We love nasty. Nasty's great. I want it grungy. I want it dark. I want it moody. So keep it distorted, keep it reverberated, keep it dark. You know what I mean? Keep all of that and create separation. You know what I mean? So glad. So glad. Awesome. Awesome. Y'all, please show some love to Ridgebound right here in the chat. I really like what y'all are doing. I think you're talented. Obviously, great musicians. Great writers. Like, there's good structure. It does feel heavy. It feels emotional, and I really like the way that you're building out the production. So hopefully, that can kind of get you into a place where it feels like more of the vision, because this is a hard part about translation, right? It's like the better you get at your craft, the more accurate the translation of your idea to the end product is, right? Like when you get really, really prolific at mixing, production, session work, or, vocals writing, you have an idea and what you hear is the idea that you have. The frustrating part is when it's not. The frustrating part is like, I have this idea for this like reflective, moody vocal that has all this edge around it, and it's kind of dark and distorted, and it has a bunch of reverb. But when I do that idea, it's not doing it. It's kind of doing it, but doing it in a way where I'm losing other things. And so finding that sweet spot and translating the idea of the dark, moody, reflective vocal, and finding the methodology to get that while maintaining clarity is where the real skill comes in, man. And you'll get there 100%. I have no doubts. Y'all show some love. That is Ridgebound right here in the chat. The song is out, so please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go run up the numbers, go follow on DSPs, go follow here on TikTok, all that good stuff. That is going to do it for the day, y'all. I'm going to get out of here, and then we'll be live maybe a day or two this weekend as well. So make sure that you're following on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, and we'll make sure that we keep you informed with the things that we're doing. I'm going to keep trying to, I appreciate you so much. I'm going to keep trying to update things with Aux, and if we can't, we'll switch to something else. But I'm going to keep trying to get that figured out so that hopefully things are worked out for the next couple streams. If it is, it should be seamless. If it's not, I'll switch to something else that is, so we can keep it as efficient for y'all and as easy for y'all as possible to keep track of things. Thank you so much, Eddie. I appreciate you so much too, man. Real quick spiel before we hop off. For those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done that for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained musician, pianist. So if you are ever looking for services in any of that realm, that is what I do for a living. If you ever need hardware, analog synths, session work for electric, acoustic, bass guitars, live drums, vocals. If you ever need full scale production, if you ever need mixing and mastering, that's what I do for a living. So shoot me a message. I'll do my best to get back to you in a timely manner and a timely way. a manageable time. I don't know what I'm saying. In a timely manner. That's what I'm trying to say. And hopefully we can work something out, man. But I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have an incredible rest of your evening. Hopefully we'll be able to see y'all very, very soon. Peace and go Spurs go.